no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah.
Hey, shalom. Welcome back to Our Hidden History Radio. I'm Deacon Athan, and to my left,
Captain Joel.
to my right,
Officer Jezreel.
Officer Lacroix.
welcome to Our Hidden History Radio, Our Hidden History, and we're back with part 7, right? Part 7?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Bear with me, man. There's so many parts. I'm losing track now. We're still in the Promised Lands. We're still dealing with that. We got some information we want to bring out. I talked about the Aztecs. I talked about the Chichimecs. I talked about the Toltecs and so forth. I referred to how Tulan is Jerusalem, Atzlan is Canaan. I went into those things. I brought a lot of that information out from Kingsborough, a whole bunch of different sources. So I want to really quick go back to that article about the Mayan slave ship that they found recently. You know, a lot of you having your naysayers about the natives being our people. I want to go back to that article, a CNN article about the Mayan slave ship. because we kind of only read 2 paragraphs, but I want to go back to it really quickly. First of all, I want to look at the date. It was September, 18th?
September 19th.
19th, 2020. That was very, very recent. This is discovered.
Right.
It's one of many. This one they found, but there were many others. And for them to know, it's a slave ship. My mic. My mic's off. Hello.
You good?
All right.
hear you.
For many, Esau has his ships documented. He has his ships documented and so forth. So this ship was documented of not returning. So they found it. It was sunk. So we're going to go down. We're going to read real quick. Let's go real quick to the article. Oh, and I want to make a quick announcement. This is some good news. For those of you who are on the live chat, we've encountered the same scoffing, scorning idiots every week. So, we figured out a way to deal with y'all from now on. So it's gonna be very, very, you guys that keep scoffing every week, you keep coming on here every week and scoffing and scorning. We got something special for you, so you can't disrupt anybody anymore. All right. And brother asked last week, what's a yaya? A yaya is an Israelite that believes that the name must be expressed every 5 seconds to be saved, and that Israelites are blacks only, dark skin only, black only. Even though they themselves be light skinned as hell, waffle skinned Negroes, they be damn bright as hell. But for some reason, only dark skinned Negroes, including themselves, they're light, are Israel only. That's what yayas are. Right. So we also encountered you on the live chat as well. I saw you. Again, I go back and watch the videos. I had to watch the live chat to see, how disruptive you guys are. So we figured out a method on how to deal with you. So you come on here with that nonsense again, we got something special for you.
That's right.
All right, So let's read that again.
Introduce you to my new Hebrew name.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Shuffle.
CNN. Archaeologists in Mexico have confirmed. Matter of fact, let's read the title again.
You read the title again?
Go to the title.
Yeah.
Mexican archaeologists identified the first Mayan slave ship
The first Mayan slave ship. Go ahead.
to have ever been discovered.
To have ever been discovered. To have ever been discovered. Let's go down. All right.
All right. Archaeologists in Mexico have confirmed that a shipwreck discovered off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yucatan Peninsula. Yucatan, what that means, it goes back to Yachtin. Joktan going back to Eber's second son. You had Peleg and you had Joktan. Okay, there's a name of a Hebrew man. Go ahead.
Once captured Mayans who were sold into slavery.
Which captured Mayans that were sold into slavery. Mayans. Go ahead.
Brothers, zoom a little out because
Yeah, bring it out. It's cut off. It's cut off. Bring something in. Bring it in a bit. You cut the side part off.
Yeah, you cut that side. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Is the first Mayan slave ship ever discovered to Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History,
Anthropology, go ahead.
which made the announcement on Tuesday.
Go ahead.
The paddle wheel steamboat known as La Union was discovered by archaeologists in the Gulf of Mexico.
So it's called La Union. That was the name of the slave ship. Go ahead.
Gulf of Mexico, 2 nautical miles from Sisal in 2017. But it took 3 years of research to confirm that it was a Mayan slave ship.
Right, because Esau has the records of all their slave ships going back and forth from Spain to the Americas. They have records of their ships. Some returned, some didn't. They found this one. They found it on record to know what it's called and know what it is. Go ahead.
La Union illegally captured and transported about 25 to 30 Mayans monthly to Cuba.
Monthly. 25 to 30 Mayans monthly. Slave ships monthly to where?
To Cuba.
To Cuba. Go ahead.
Where they were forced to work in sugarcane fields between 1855 and 1861.
Go ahead.
This was during the rebellion known as the Case War, according to INA.
Spell that. What's the word? C-A-S-T?
Yes, sir. C-A-S-T-E.
That's Caste War. The Caste War. Go ahead.
According to INA.
Go ahead.
Divers swim near the wreck of La Union, which carried Mayan people for slaves slave and trade in 1850s off the coast of Sicily, Yucatan, Mexico.
Go ahead.
Each slave was sold to middlemen for 25 pesos, and they resold them in Havana for as much as 160 pesos.
They're worth more. They're worth more over there. Go ahead.
Wow. For men, and 120 pesos for women. And archaeologist Helena Barba Menique said in a press release, the ship sunk on September 19th, 1861, while en route to Cuba.
So it sunk the same month they found it. So it sunk in September of what year?
1861.
And they found it in September. They found it. Well, it's been published now. They found it this month. They found it September this month. Go ahead.
Proving that slavery continued despite having been abolished in Mexico in 1829.
Ah, see that? So it was abolished. They were still doing it. Go ahead.
And a decree issued banning the forced extraction of Mayan people that same year. For researchers, the discovery is highly relevant. Anna said in the release, beyond the difficulties in identifying a wreck by name, it also speaks to an ominous past for Mexico that should be acknowledged and studied in terms of its context and time. Archaeologists confirmed the identity of the ship from its boilers, which exploded and caused the boat to catch fire, as well as the wooden hull side wheeler, which had been reserved. They also found artifacts, including fragments of glass from bottles, ceramics, and 8 brass cutlery used by first-class passengers on board. The accident killed half of the 80 crew members and 60 passengers on board.
Damn.
It is unclear how many of the dead included Mayan slaves,
Wow, many of them, they died too. They're by the bottom of the ship. Go ahead.
as they were listed as cargo and merchandise,
They were listed as cargo and merchandise,
not passengers.
not passengers. So their property burned also, which would be us, our Mayan brothers on this side of the world. So you have your doubts if you want to. They were called property, merchandise, cargo. Cargo slave ships, Mayans, 1861. All right, so y'all keep on doubting. So real quick, let's bring out that book, Jess.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we copied it, right?
They took the
You did it already?
they took the pages for
You
us.
sent it to them?
Yes, sir.
All right, so
I
let's
didn't
go.
send it, but they screen,
All right.
They did their thing. So.
Dick,
All right.
I got the definition for ENA. You want to read that?
And yes, and
It's in Spanish.
And thanks, officer. Instituto Nacional de
God.
Antropología Histórica.
all right.
Can-
It's the
can- somebody else read that?
it's the Institute of Anthropological Studies.
It's in Spanish.
In
That's what-
Spanish.
Yeah.
Institute of Anthropological Studies. That's all it is.
Let's have offside Don read it.
Oh man,
Terrible.
At least you know what it means now. You know,
Yeah.
I tried my
Spanish.
best. I tried my best.
about to have a Don come up here and have a seat. Jesus Christ.
Just to
That was
translate things. That
horrible.
was terrible. That was the worst thing I ever heard.
We try, but don't worry about it.
It's all right, Jack.
At
You
might-
be
at
all
least
right.
some
Might
Southern
be
Kingdom.
Judah.
At least some Southern Kingdom.
Maybe. It sounded like
Yeah, I
that.
give you some hope to be Judah. Does it. So you read that in Spanish. So we got this information we'll share with y'all real quick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go through that. Now, I've been touching on a lot regarding so-called Mexicans, Mayans, Incas, Aztecs. As you know, you had the Toltecs, you had the Chichimecs, and then you had the Wildtecs, and you had the Aztecs. That's the proper order. There's all the same people, pretty much, just down the line, different names on the line. Toltecs goes back to Tola. Tola goes back to Jerusalem. Okay? That's what the Toltec. The people of Tula or Tola or Toltecs or Toltecs means the people of Jerusalem. That's what it means. That's what Tola is. Okay? Then you have what would I say? The Chichimecs. So we're gonna do a Chichimecs real quick. Okay, because the Chichimecs derive from or come out of or a branch off from the Toltecs, in which the Aztecs derive, they come from them. I put that out in class maybe 2-3 parts ago. So you can go back and watch it again. I'm not going backwards. It's too much. All right, you ready?
yes,
All
sir.
right, so blow that up. Make that bigger so we can all see.
This book
They can
is
see it.
from 1836.
This book is from 1836. The book that I usually use, this one here, I'm not going to show the cover. This one I usually right here is 1825. All right? This is when Negroes was not allowed to read nothing. What book is, how old is this book again? How old is it?
1836.
We were still in chains. So we wasn't reading. That book this is not for black eyes. Okay? This is for white eyes only. Not anymore, but it was. Go ahead.
All right, give me Mexican, is this the beginning? The Mexican calendar? All right. The Indians of Chiapa reckoned the number of the planets to be 7,
Okay.
corresponding with the signs of the days of the year.
Okay.
The number following that of 13, so celebrated in the Holy Scriptures on account of the blessed Creator, having rested on the 7th day of the creation of the world.
So they honored this. They're the 7-day week, and they honored the 7th day on this side of Indians. The Chiapa, remember the Chiapanese brought that out a long time ago. The Chiapa, or not Japanese, Chiapanese. That's like, I believe that's Mexico also. That's Mexico. Go ahead.
The names of the Chiapanese chiefs, whose heads are found in the calendar, bear a considerable resemblance to Hebrew proper names.
So the chiefs of the Chiapanese people, have Hebrew names. The chiefs. Go ahead.
And even the signs of the Mexican calendar seem to have some reference to the emblems under which Jacob, when dying, predicted the destinies of his posterity.
See? I read that before. It's the whole different book. I read it before. So the calendar they have is the predictions that Jacob gave to his 12 sons in his deathbed. Genesis 49, verse 1, I will tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Remember that? Go ahead.
With respect to burning incense to the Ciaba tree,
If he burned incense, go ahead.
which superstition of the Chiapanese Nunes de la Vega treated of their calendar mentions from the root of which he says they believe they originally sprung.
Where they come from. Go ahead.
It might as well have been considered by him as the root of David, which was to produce that branch, which is so much the theme of prophetic hope.
Oh, man. Go ahead.
As to assume that it was an act of adulation to Ninus, which name the bishop supposed to have been corrupted into Iona, and lastly into Max.
Go ahead.
Borderini
Borderini, I remember him.
writes, the commentator, observes that he could find no resemblance between the names of the other ancient chiefs of the Japanese calendar and those of the descendants of Ninus. He adds, proceeding now to the argument by which Acosta attempts to prove the Indians could not have been the Hebrews.
So Acosta, we're going to deal with that bastard today because that's the guy from which the Bering Strait theory derives from. Jose de Acosta. This guy was a demon. Because the Spaniards all brought forth their testimony that these guys are Hebrews. This guy, with few others, came with the thought that they're not Hebrews based upon his own personal opinion. Now, he knew they were Hebrews. He knew it. But he knew the danger of spreading that information. He said, if we keep putting this out there, it's dangerous. So he used nature. Oh, look at this grass. This grass is in Asia. They're Asians. Look at their horses. Their horses are found in Asia. They must be Asian. He's making things up. I'm gonna show y'all later on if time allows. Go ahead.
What shall
You see, the Indians could not have been Hebrews. Start from there.
the Indians could not have been the Hebrews?
That's what Acosta said. Go ahead.
And which Spizillus has employed in a triumphant manner to throw discredit on the relation of Montesino. What shall we say when we find in the writings of Acosta himself, as well as from the works of Sargon and
Sargon, that name comes up all the time. Sargon. That name came up in Kingsborough's book. Go ahead.
and Torquemada,
Him also. His name came up also. Torquemada. Go ahead.
and the commentary of the anonymous interpreter of the Vatican, MS.
Right. The Vatican MS goes to the Codex. Remember, they translated the Mexicans' emblems and symbols and stuff in Spanish.
I'm gonna read the reference.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Mayucas Habichica of this tribe, Gumila, says the calendar corresponds to the Abib or Nisan of the calendar of the Hebrews.
See, their calendar corresponds to what?
The calendar corresponds to the Abib or Nisan of the calendar of the Hebrews.
So they had a month of Abib on this side of the world. They celebrate the month of Abib on this side of the world. That's spring. That's the first month of the year on this side of the world. Their calendar. They have that in their calendar. And they had illustrations of their forefather Jacob and his 12 sons on the calendar. And their chiefs who had Hebrew names on the calendar. You hear all this stuff Esau says, yeah, the Mayan calendar, the Aztec calendar, make it all mystical. It's biblical. But they translated it into Spanish. The Vatican MS, all these different names. Go to the next page, right? Next page.
Yes, sir. Go to page 156. Blow it up.
Y'all like Mexicans? That's too bad. We're going to keep hitting you in the head with it till you figure it out.
Names of the 20 ancient lords which were preserved in the Japanese calendar.
Mox.
Mox, Ya, Votan, Gahanan, AB, AGH, Tax, Morik, Labat, Mola.
Oh, yeah, we need a Don here.
Officer Don.
We got to get a Don up here, man. I don't know what's going on.
Where you at, man?
Don, wake up.
Yeah, get a Don over here, man. Yeah, we going to need you, man. Come on, have a seat, man. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, this is.
I'm scared. I don't know. I think Jez is casting Indian spells over here. He's casting Gadite spells over here, man. I don't know what's going on.
I'm trying, sir. I'm trying.
Please don't try anymore.
Oh, man. I don't know what's going on.
Eli, Bats, Enob.
Oh, he's still trying. Jeez. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Ben
We're going
Hicks.
to read it again, but go ahead.
Tziking, Chabing, Cheek, Chinex, Kohab, and Agua.
All right. All right. Names of the symbolic.
Oh, man.
So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 20 names? Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 7,
I think it's 20 names.
20.
20 names, yeah.
Brothers, go down. I think we wanted something about. Okay, that's the part.
Yeah, blow it up some. That's a fine print. That's the best print, the fine print. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, this is what we wanted.
That's what we wanted. Go ahead.
It is true that unlike the Egyptians, the Mexicans divided their year into 18 months. But as they call the month Misili or moon.
Right, moon. Yeah, they call the month moon, by the moon. Sirach 43. Go ahead.
It seems undeniable that their ancient month had been lunar, verifying that which the scriptures tell, that the month owes its name to the moon.
Damn, that's Ecclesiastes 43.
The Mexicans, it is probable, received the lunar month from their ancestors, but for certain purposes also instituted another.
Right, they added another one.
Right.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it on that.
Is there more?
You went about the Chichimek, the next.
Yeah, man, you know what I want. You know exactly what I want.
Go to page 186, bro.
Go over. So what's over? Is there someone on this page too? Yeah, go to that page right there. Read that. You move right over. Yeah, so it gets good. It's gonna get better. Remember the Chichimecs? Remember we had the Toltecs, Chichimecs, Aztecs, and so-called Mexicans. It's all the same. Watch this.
The following account in Gomorrah's conquest of Mexico of a certain Chichimeca.
Chichimeca is Chichimecas. Chichimecs is the same thing. Same, different writing, different pronunciation, same people, same thing. We're going to go back to that last page so Adon can read it for us. I don't know what we read earlier. But go ahead. It's all right, Jez. You're going to be all right, brother. You're going to be all right. Let's read it again.
Wow.
Go ahead.
The following account in Gomorrah's conquest of Mexico of a certain Chichimeca, prevailing over Quetzalcoatl, and binding him and detaining him amongst men, bears some analogy to what is said of Jacob's wrestling and prevailing with God in the 32nd chapter of Genesis.
We got to read it one more time. Read it one more time.
The following account in Gomorrah's conquest of Mexico of a certain Chichimeca.
That's how you say it, Don?
Yeah, he got it right.
All right.
He got it right.
All right.
All right.
Chichimeca, go ahead.
Chichimeca prevailing over Quetzalcoatl.
So Chichimeca is a story that Chichimeca, who was the father of the Chichimecs, who they got their name from, prevailed over Quetzalcoatl. Remember, Quetzalcoatl was the Lord, okay, or an angel. So it's prevailing over Quetzalcoatl. He prevailed over Quetzalcoatl. So they believed that angel that Jacob wrestled with was Christ himself. That's what they're saying. That's what's believed. Watch this. Go ahead.
And binding him and detaining him amongst men, bear some analogy to what is said of Jacob's wrestling and prevailing with God in the 32nd chapter of Genesis.
Remember that? And that's how he got his name Israel. He wrestled with the angel for hours until he said, give me a blessing. And he said, your name will be Israel from now on. Go down. I'm sorry, go back up. It says Chichimeca, and it says number next to it. What's it, number one?
Number one, yes, sir. Number one.
Now go down to the bottom. Watch this. Blow it up some. Number one. It's going to define what number one is. Watch. What's Chichimeca mean? What Chichimeca mean?
to wrestle and prevail with Officer Don.
Tezcatlipoca.
Right. So he's wrestling with the same as that's Quetzalcoatl, right? It's the same thing. That's the same name, right? It's the same person, pretty much. It's a different name. Quetzalcoatl.
Yes.
And that name. It's the same. It's the same name. So Chichimeca means to wrestle. It means to wrestle. To wrestle. Going back to Jacob wrestling with the angel in Genesis 32. So Chichimeca means wrestling, pretty much, in reference to Jacob. So they call themselves Chichimecs in honor of Jacob wrestling with the angel. There's more, right?
Yes, sir.
Go over.
Next page. And then after that, we get page 184 with Noah. And
Let's go out. Move over to the circle page, right? Or that page?
yeah, this is
Oh, yeah. You got to read this, Don. It's crazy. We'll read that, and then we're going to read the English parts, and then Don going to step in as we go along. The genealogical descent.
the genealogical descent of the nations of New Spain.
New Spain is Mexico. Espanol. Oh, España, right? España, I believe it called it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
From
Ixtag Mexcoatli.
and his 2 wives serves also to bring to our recollection Jacob and his 2 wives and sons.
See? Genealogical descent of the nations of New Spain from who? From Ixtac?
Mexcoatli.
Right, so the Ixtac Mexcuali and his 2 wives, that's Jacob. Ixtac Mexcuali is Jacob and his 2 wives, Leah and Rachel, so it's going into. Go ahead.
Serves also to bring to our recollection Jacob and his 2 wives and sons. And it deserves to be remarked that the proper name,
X.
Ix, seems peculiarly applicable to Jacob.
Go ahead.
Since he was smooth and fair, and his name is compounded of 2 words.
Right, remember, it said Jacob was a smooth man, and Esau was a hairy man. So Ixtac means smooth. It means smooth man. What? We don't. I was going to say it.
Istak, which signifies smooth,
See?
and
Go ahead.
Mexcoatli.
Misquali, a serpent, which is in more than one place in Scripture called a subtle creature.
Right, man, he dwelt in tents. He was a smooth man. He dwelt in tents. Esau was a cunning hunter. So it's telling you, it's giving you his characteristic of what his name means. Smooth and calm, like a serpent. Go ahead.
And is characterized by Christ as wise in the injunction which he gave to the apostles to be wise as serpents.
Right. Go down.
Go down. Go all the way down to the reference.
Go to the bottom.
I think that was it on that page.
Go to the next page.
Go to 184 with Noah.
Right there, right? What, the Indians?
Whether-
Yeah, right there. That's the part.
Whether the Indians of the islands of San Domingo and Cuba, whose language is said to have been half Hebrew.
Why? Because it's corrupt. It was half because they spoke the heathen languages as well. Half Hebrew, wasn't full, wasn't pure. Half or corrupt Hebrew. Go ahead.
And who, in many of their customs, nearly resembled the Jews.
The people of Santo Domingo is where? What's Santo Domingo? That's DR.
Simeon.
That's Simeon. Saint Domingo. Go ahead. Read again. And Cuba. Cuba. Okay. Go ahead. Read again.
Whether the
We're
Indians.
gonna revisit that again. Cuba and Santo Domingo. We're gonna visit that again. Go ahead.
Whether the Indians of the islands of San Domingo and Cuba, whose language is said to have been half Hebrew, and who in many of their customs nearly resembled the Jews.
These people, so the people of Cuba and Santo Domingo had customs like the Jews. Go down.
All right. An old man, knowing that the deluge was about to happen, built a large ship in which he embarked with his household.
No, go to the old men above, 70 or 80 years old.
Okay. The old men above, 70 or 80 years of age, reported.
No. Matter of fact, no. Go back up. You left stuff out. Go back. Practice the same rites after this. Resemble the Jews and practice the same. Start from there. And we'll read all the way down. Watch this.
Resembled the Jews, practiced the same rites.
They practice the people of the natives of Cuba and Saint Domingo practice the same rites as the Jews. Go ahead.
As those in use among the Indians of the continent.
See, and so not only did they practice the customs of Jews throughout Mexico and the Americas, also in Saint Domingo and Cuba. Go ahead.
It will be difficult to say, but that they possessed traditions in common with them evidently derived from a Hebrew source.
They kept customs derived from a Hebrew source. From a Hebrew source. Go ahead.
Is plain from the following relation of
Tarkamata,
Tarkamata, which we cannot refrain from inserting.
We can't leave this out. Go ahead.
It is true that the Indians of the Isle of Cuba say
Hold on. The Indians of the island of Cuba say what?
that they knew that the heavens and other things had been created, and they affirm by three powers.
They affirm that the heavens and earth were created by three powers. Remember, it says, let us make man in our image. That's the Father, the Son, and the other angels. Let us make man in our image. They understood that. The Elohim, Elohim, understood that stuff. The powers, the heavenly powers. Go ahead.
One of whom came from such a part.
Hold on. One of whom. So the first one came from such a part. What number is that next to it? What number is that?
2.
Go down to the bottom of the screen. What does that say in the bottom?
Probably to express am.
I am.
I am.
Probably to express I am. That goes back to Yah. Go ahead.
And shall be.
Yahweh means he is or is to be or shall be.
Damn.
And Dick, the Hebrew word on top says Elohim,
Damn.
and the one on the bottom to the right says Yahweh.
Damn. There you go. So they knew. Thank you, Laquan. Praise the Lord. Give him an applause. He read that thing. He got that
Where
thing.
the bombs, man?
All right. So you have Elohim on the top and Yahweh on the right. All right, which means the terrible demon-like power, right? They call the Almighty.
Right.
Almighty, which is Exodus 6:3, and I am same thing. Exodus 6:3, same thing. So that's from such a part. It goes by three powers, and of whom came from the two others came from such a part. Going back to Yahweh, going back to the Almighty, going back to Yah or Yahweh. Some of y'all would say Yahuwah. Some of y'all would say Yahweh. Yada yada yada. You understand? Jehovah.
And Dick, if you look at it, it says from the three powers, and they put that reference number 1,
Right.
which means the Elohim.
Oh, right. Yes.
And then
Right.
number 2 on the bottom, which says Yahweh,
Right. Number 2 is right. Exactly. The two powers.
such as a part.
Apart. Go ahead.
Yep.
And the other two from other parts.
Right. Other two from other parts. Going back to the Messiah and the angels and so forth. Go ahead.
They were perfectly informed of the deluge.
Of the flood. The deluge is the flood. They were informed about the flood. Watch.
The old men above 70 or 80 years of age reported
The old men talked about the flood. Go ahead.
that when first their countrymen settled in that island, an old man, knowing that the deluge was about to happen, built a large ship, in which he embarked with his household and many animals, and that he had dispatched. Next page. Did I give y'all the next page?
That's all right. So they understood the flood. That's the point. And they spoke about the flood as if it happened during their time, but he's referring to the flood that happened during Noah's time. And they knew about the Father and the Son and the rest of the angels. They knew about that already. The Godhead. They understood that.
So they came here with their history.
Right. They came with the history. They came with that history.
And the white man stole it from them.
White man stole it. He translated it and then he hid it.
Yeah.
And the Smithsonian and the Vatican, they had these things. They have these things. These books we shouldn't have. These books that we're reading, we should not. This book's 1830s, 1820s. We shouldn't have these books. These not for us to have. This is for their sons and their sons and sons and sons and their daughters and daughters to pass on to keep knowledge of who we are, a secret amongst themselves. That's what I say all the time. The second worst thing Esau allowed was making nukes and letting us read. That's
sir.
the worst. I think us reading is worse than nukes. Way worse. Go to the next page there.
Dick, if I'm making out with the scripture?
Yeah, sure.
Amos 3 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there.
Amos 3 and 7.
Trying to hide it. The Most High said. That's what the Most High said.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God would do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So the Most High is revealing the secrets right now.
Yep.
Unto his prophets.
We're revealing it to you. We're revealing it to our people, to you.
That's right.
We're also servants and prophets.
All right, they're getting the next page right now, Deacon.
We're going to
185.
set up for the next page. Get me Deuteronomy 33, 29. Where do you get that? So all this time you've been told, oh, these guys are Asians, they're, savages, manifest destiny. We had to civilize them, give them Christianity. It's all lies. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people, saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee.
Your enemies shall be found liars unto you. They shall be found liars unto you. Go ahead.
And thou shalt tread upon their high places.
We're going to rule over them. We're going to tread upon their high places and rule over them. Once we figure out the lies we've been taught, as this truth spreads and grows, we get delivered, we're going to eventually march upon their high places and dominate this world.
That's right.
Once again.
Bring it out.
So this history of bringing out is leading to the end. The Most High is going to allow these information to come out. As we approach the end, more information is going to come out. The Mayan slave ship being discovered off the coast of Mexico. The Most High is letting our enemies reveal to us what they've been hiding from us all this time.
Right.
All right?
Your brothers got the page?
You know? So it's very important that we go over this information because one of the main people I see attacked in terms of not being Israel is so-called Mexicans. And I don't understand it. I don't understand because the reason why a lot of you black folks attack Mexicans is because white folks don't like them. White folks, they're taking all the jobs. No, they're not. You know who took all the jobs? COVID. COVID took the jobs.
Right.
No, not Mexicans. I've been working since I was 16 years old. Ain't no Mexicans took a job for me. So that's just either you lazy or retarded or something wrong. That's why you ain't get no damn job.
Yo, plus they be getting the jobs that nobody wants.
Right, exactly. They put and they get the wages no one wants.
Right.
They get paid the wages somebody wants. Black folks don't work for no damn $2 an hour. This is called work for anything. They work just to work. You'll have 8, 9 of them in one house.
Saving up.
Saving up.
Yeah, and ask Donald Trump. He used some of them to build his empire.
Yeah.
Give them
And Mitt Romney too. Mm-hmm. And what's his name? That dude, man. Second richest guy in the world. Carlos Slim. Him too. Go ahead. What we got there? What we got?
All
Load up
right, this is
some.
a page 185.
All right.
This is a continuation about Noah. Dispatch. I need the other page blowed up. Yeah, here it is right here. Dispatch from thence I need 185 blowed up. Thank you. Blow it up. From thence a crow which did not return, but stayed to prey upon the dead carcasses.
Okay, that's madness. But he brought back a leaf, remember? To see if the waters receded. It's going into that. Go ahead. Because they had their own corrupt way of bringing it up. Go ahead.
Right, and that he afterwards sent a dove which came back cooing and bringing a leafy branch which resembled a hop.
Right. Go ahead.
But was not one on which he quitted the ship. And made wine of mountain grapes and became drunk.
Remember Noah got drunk? Go ahead.
And having 2 sons, one of them laughed and said to the other, turn him into jest.
Let's make fun of him because remember Noah was drunk and naked. So Ham was the one he's referring to. I mean, it says, hey, look, Dad's naked and drunk. He started making fun of their father. Go ahead.
But the other reproved him and covered his father, who having slept off the effects of the wine.
The other 2. Shem and Japheth covered him up, but their backs turned towards him. Go ahead.
And knowing the impudence of his son, cursed him and pronounced a blessing on the other.
Shem, go ahead.
And from the former, the Indians of these countries were descended.
And from the one and the one he blessed is the one from which the Indians descended. So the one that he blessed is the one that they claim descent from. Go down, let's see if it tells you who it is.
Let's prove it.
Right there. Blow it up some. Blow it up more. Move it over. Bring it in some. Bring it in a little bit. Right there. Yep. Go ahead. Read that.
This appears to be an error, since the Indians boasted of having belonged to the same race as Quetzalcoatl.
Go on. They claim the same race as who?
Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl, going back to the Messiah. Go ahead.
That is derived from the patriarch Shem.
Boom. They claim descent from Shem. Shem. Not Japheth, not Ham. They descend from Shem.
So they're the Shemites.
They're Shemites. Right. They're Semitic.
From the same race as the Messiah.
As the Messiah. The same people as the Messiah. They claim descent from, lineage from, genealogical descent from, race from. There more? That's it. So now.
Which make them the Israelites.
Which makes them Israelites, yes.
That's right.
That's what it means. They are Israelites. Now. Let's get origins. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Let's get into Bering Strait now. Let's get into the Bering Strait. I told y'all. I told y'all.
Gotta take notes now.
I warned y'all about this nonsense. They're Asians. They're Asians. You guys are retarded, man.
The Bering Strait.
Let me get that book. Y'all borrowed. Let me get it back. I don't see it. Is it up here? Yeah, I don't have it. It's back there. we're gonna go to the introduction. We're gonna read page 3 and 4. A lot of reading today. I want to read along. My eyes aren't as good as Jez. You know, Jez has the eyes of an eagle, like his forefathers.
Man.
His forefathers had the eyes. This ain't it.
That's not it.
This is your book. My book is right here. I want the origins.
The black book. Bring
Yeah,
the black
right there.
book.
That's the one. Yeah. You're gonna read on. Well, we're gonna start from the introduction. We're gonna start at.
Damn, that book is dusty. There's
Yeah,
dust
it's
on the
old.
book.
It's very old.
old book.
Very old. The cover is disintegrating. It's so old. The cover is disintegrating. That's how old it is. My favorite kind of book. This book goes into 1492 to 1729. All right.
Whoever read that book, man, probably turning in his grave, man. We should have burned them.
Yeah, we should
I
have
told
burned
you
them
to
all.
burn them books.
Yep. So we're gonna start from page 3, and we're gonna end at one. We're gonna end at what does read? Page 3.
The discovery of the American Indian. When Columbus returned to Europe in the late 1492, he wrote a letter to his patrons, Ferdinand and Isabella,
By his rulers, the king and queen of Spain, the king and queen of Spain. Go ahead.
informing them of his discoveries in the Western Sea.
Western Hemisphere. Go ahead.
He told them of the islands, the plants, the animals, and the people he had encountered there. The people of this island, Española, and all the other islands which I have found, and of which I have information, all go naked. Although some of the women cover a single place with a leaf of a plant, or with a net of cotton.
Like some of us walked around with clothes on, some of us did not. You had pagan ones, you had righteous ones. Go ahead. Among the islands.
This letter was subsequently published and went through several editions in various languages before the end of the century. Many Europeans received their first information on the New World from this letter, but it was singularly uninformative about the nature of the inhabitants.
Dick, you see what it says? Many Europeans. You say black people?
Nope, many Europeans
Yep.
received their
So
information.
that
first
book,
information in
that
the New World.
information was just for them.
Right,
Pass
for
it
white
back
eyes
and
only, for red
Right,
eyes only.
yep.
Yeah.
Not black eyes, not brown eyes,
And they
red
kept
eyes.
it to pass it down to their generation.
Right.
If you want to keep rolling, read this book and make sure
Yep.
these people never get this information.
Make sure you understand who you're ruling over. If you're going to rule over somebody, you have to know who you're ruling over.
Exactly.
Know their lineage, know their records, you have to have knowledge of that stuff.
What's that, Judith 5 and 20, right?
Yeah, let's get that. Let's get that real quick. Judith 5 and 20. Let's get that real quick. It's to show that this is common practice among the nations, to know their enemy and to know their enemy thoroughly.
Was never meant to be found.
And then the sad part is white man got y'all convinced that your people ain't your people.
Right.
You know there's something wrong with you when a white man got you believing that your people ain't your people.
So, reverse psychology.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Witchcraft.
That's what it is.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error, Dick, you want me to start earlier? Because
Yeah, I'm gonna get there with you. I'm gonna get there with you
yes,
right
sir.
now. Judith 5.
17.
No.
it's earlier than that.
Go to
Verse 2, or somewhere around there.
no, not 2. Hold on. Yeah, verse 2 and 3.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 2.
This is a general named Holofernes. He worked for the Babylonian king. He was getting intel on the Israelites while he was conquering. Go ahead.
Wherewith he was very angry and called all the princes of Moab and the captains of Ammon and all the governors of the sea coast.
So he called the Chinese and Japanese up to talk to him. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the
And you
cities?
had Africans there too. Go ahead.
And what are the cities that they inhabit? And what is the multitude of their army? And wherein is their power and strength?
So where do they live? How big is their army? Where does their strength come from? What's their mightiest area? Go ahead.
And what king is set over them?
Dick, sorry
Who-
to interrupt, right? That's basically the same thing Columbus was saying
Yeah.
to
Send to Ferdinand
same
and
thing,
Isabella.
Right.
Yep. Give me intel. Go ahead. What is their what?
And wherein is their power and strength? And what king is set over
Who's
them?
their leader? Go ahead.
Or captain of their army?
Who's their captain?
And why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west?
Jump down. Go to 20. So Ammon, an Ammonite, gave the intel to this general regarding our background. Verse 20 now.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my lord and governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
So they understood that we had a God over us. They knew that. Esau translated our codexes and our tablets and so forth into Spanish. He said, these guys are Israelites. So their God is the same God that we trying to teach them in Christianity. They know that God already. But they said, we're going to teach them the white one.
Right.
11 verse 10.
Judah chapter 11, verse 10.
Yeah.
The book of Judah chapter 11, verse 10.
Watch this.
Therefore, O Lord and governor, reject not his word, but lay it up in thy heart, for it is true. For our nation shall not be punished, neither can the sword prevail against them, except they sin against their God.
See, that's what Judah said. We cannot fall unless we go against our God. And the heathen understood that also. The heathen understand that also. Let that go. Go
And
back
that's
to
why when they came in, they make sure they forced the Indians to get that Christianity.
Yep, kill
Right.
the Indians, save the man. We brought that out last week in the Carlisle Institute and Hampton University. Read on.
They do not hold any creed, nor are they idolaters.
See that? See, they're not idolaters. They were dressed inappropriately, but they were still keeping Hebrew customs. Go ahead.
They do not hold any creed, nor are they idolaters, but they all believe that power and good are in the heavens, and were very firmly convinced that I, with these ships and men, came from the heavens.
Because they were new. These guys are weird. Look how they look. They read. Who are they? They were unfamiliar with Esau at this time. It was later on, it's years later. Go ahead.
And it is belief they everywhere received me after they had mastered their fear. This belief is
They
not
were afraid of him at first, but after a while they got used to them. Go ahead.
this belief is not the result of ignorance, for they are, on the contrary, of a very acute intelligence.
They're very intelligent. Go ahead.
And they are men who navigate all those seas.
And they can travel the seas. They were navigators.
It's a car.
Some of y'all like, oh,
That's
no,
right.
no, they just walked across the land bridge. They had ships. They navigated the seas that Columbus had already. That's how they got over there, through ships. Columbus understood that. Y'all confused. Go ahead.
So that it is amazing how good on an account they give of everything. It is because they
Hold
have-
on, they give an account of what? Of the seas they sailed on this side of the world. How they came over here.
Damn.
How to travel, how to navigate to Cuba. How to go to Jamaica. How to go to Puerto Rico.
Right.
He says how good.
How good they were in giving accounts of everything. They knew where they came from. They knew how to get around this land. That's why the white man says it's better we just keep them as slaves because it's better to get black folks as slaves because these guys know the land.
Right.
So we gonna get the blacks, bring the blacks over here. This land is new to us over here, to us. Judah, go ahead.
It is because they have never seen people clothed or ships of such a kind. In all these islands, I saw no great diversity in the appearance of the people.
I saw no great diversity, but there was diversity. He saw no great, he saw some differences, but for the most part, they looked the same.
That's heavy, D.
He said, I saw no great diversity. There was diversity, but not a lot.
It's pretty much the same.
The same diversity.
Color and all that.
All throughout the island, some look Negro, some don't. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Of the people are in their manners and
Next page.
language.
And language. No great diversity in that language either. Different dialects, same language. Go ahead.
On the contrary, they all understand one another. In none of these statements did Columbus indicate.
Wait. One another. Go to page 5.
Page 5, brothers.
We're going to end at New World.
All right. Columbus did not question the existence of men in the New World because he did not know it was a new world. The realization of this fact was a gradual one, not fully made until the reports of the Magellan expedition of 1519 to 1521 became available.
Magellan goes into the Chile. It's a little waterway in between Chile and Argentina. That's that's called the Straits of Magellan. They sailed up there also. They came to this side of the world. Some of them arrived and landed at South America. Central America, and someone under the Americas and went into that strait, into Argentina and Chile. Go ahead.
There was therefore no reason to marvel at a new world filled with new men, because neither phenomenon was recognized as such.
Right, they knew who they were. They weren't new. They knew who they were. Go ahead.
The first must be understood before the second could be considered.
Go ahead.
A generation passed between the discovery and the identification of America as a new world. In the interim, numerous accounts of the Indies appeared in Europe, but few revealed any great concern for the population of the newfound lands. Vaz de Camina of Cabral's expedition devoted only a brief section of his report to the natives of Brazil, and subsequent comments in Columbus' journal revealed no growing concern for the inhabitants.
Go ahead.
Amerigo Vespucci did such a good job of popularizing the New World in Europe that many Northern Europeans agreed with the British poet, dramatist John Rastell.
Yeah, we went too far up. That's supposed to stop the New World. It's all right.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Go to matter of fact, no, keep going. It says page 6 and the New World. Page 6. Keep going.
All right, yes, sir. When he wrote in 1520 that the Indies been called America by cause only America.
I'm sorry. It says Amerigo Vespucci is the guy whom America is named after. Amerigo Vespucci is the name by whom America is named after. Amerigo Vespucci or Amerigus Vespucci. Go ahead.
So Amerigo Vespucci did such a good job of popularizing the New World in Europe that many Northern Europeans agreed with the British poet dramatist John Rastell, 1848, when he wrote in 1520 that the Indies been called America by cause only Americas did first, them find.
Them find. Go ahead.
Leaving aside for the moment the question of what Vespucci meant by the phrase
Mundus Novus.
Mundus Novus. His writings reveal no comprehension that a new world of the type America.
Mundus Novus means new world. Mundus Novus means new world. Go ahead.
His writings reveal no comprehension that a new world of the type America proved to be would pose serious problems about the origin of its inhabitants. How did they get into the new world? Where did they come from? And from what people were they descended?
Go ahead.
Vespucci's comments on the population of the New World were very brief and almost totally uninformative. In his first published letter, July 18, 1500, he reported that the Indians were beardless, brown, naked, and cannibal, and that they had various languages.
That's his account. Go ahead.
1951, 276, 277.
Yeah, just read at this time.
At this time, however, Vespucci still believed the New World to be bounded by the eastern parts of Asia, because we saw diverse animals such as lions, stags, goats, which are not found on islands, but only on the mainland.
Go ahead.
In his Lisbon letter, Vespucci described the natives of Brazil as cruel and warlike and ignorant of law, religion, rulers, immortality of the soul, and private property.
That's his own personal opinion regarding them. They were savage towards them because they were killing them. Go ahead.
By 1503, Vespucci had seen so much of the coast of America, from southern Argentina to the
Carolinas.
Next page.
Page 6.
To the Carolinas, that he had become convinced that it could not be Asia. Consequently, when he prepared his essay on the new lands, he chose to give it the title Mundus Novus,
New World. The New World came from him. The term New World came from him. Mundus Novus. Go to
Hey, Dick, also that movie 1492.
Right, that book as well. Right.
We got that clip. I don't. You wanna play that?
Not yet. Where am I at? This is Pedro and Galera. Hold on. You see Pedro on this page? Pedro and Galera? Let me see. I don't think I wrote down where I had this page at. Give me 1 second.
Hey, Captain, how you doing, man? I see.
Back.
All praises.
Let's see. I'm trying to find
People asking, what happened to Captain Joel?
Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro. It's page 6? Yo, go there. Start from there.
All right. This is still page 6, correct? Right. All right. The recognition that the presence of the Indian in the New World did pose a problem begins to emerge in the works of Pedro Mater de Anglera,
Yeah.
who completed and published the first book of his Décadas del Nuevo Mundos in 1511.
Yeah, the decades of the New World, right? Adon? Years of the New World, years?
Officer Don, what that mean up there?
Decades?
Yeah, décadas, decades.
Decades of the New World, right? In 1511?
Yes.
Go ahead.
2 additional books followed in 1516, a fourth in 1521, and the rest of the work by 1530. In the composition of his work, Anglera relied heavily on first-hand reports from conquistadores.
So Angleria, he relied solely upon the reports from the conquistadors. He relied upon their reports of the inhabitants of this side of the world. Watch this.
Among his informants was Martin Fernandez de Incisco, an important figure in the conquest of Darien and a major enemy of
Balboa,
Balboa.
another conquistador. That's page 7.
Encountered with some Negroes on the Atlantic coast of Panama.
What do you do?
He encountered with some Negroes on the Atlantic coast of Panama.
See that? Go ahead.
He attributed to Balboa the postulate that an Ethiopian raiding party was shipwrecked in Panama, thus accounting...
No. You merged 2 pages together. It's wrong. Enemy of Balboa. Once, go to page 7. Go to the bottom of page 7. You don't have page 7? No. I'll read it then. It says only once did Anglera point out contacts of non-Americans with the Indians, which might have left their permanent population. In discussing Balboa's encounter, now read page 8. In discussing Balboa's encounter with what?
In discussing Balboa's encounter with some Negroes on the Atlantic coast of Panama.
See that? Some Negroes is referring to the natives. Some Negroes on the coast of Panama. Go ahead.
He attributed to Balboa the postulate that an Ethiopian raiding party was shipwrecked in Panama, thus accounting for the Negroes now there.
So he's trying to say these guys, those obviously a shipwreck, of Ethiopian shipwreck that got them there, inhabiting Panama. They didn't tell you white men just make things up. How these niggas get over here? How'd they get over here? They were always there. They were always there. Continue.
Peter Martyr also reported the practice of circumcision in Yucatan.
Not all one's there. That's all I want. Go to page 8 now. Wait, this is page 8. Go to it is probable.
Go down.
It is probable the bottom of the page.
All the way. All right, here we go. It is probable that none of the men who carried the burden of the discussion of the problem of Indian origins ever read Rastell, nor was that necessary. The problem was one which would readily occur to men.
You got page 9? Yes, you have 9. Men occur to men of the early.
Blow it up.
We're gonna end at descended on page 9.
Occurred to men early of the early 16th century. So long as America was thought to be a part of Asia, or at least near it, it appears that European automatically assumed that the inhabitants of the New World were of Asiatic derivation.
Read it again.
Of the early 16th century. So long as America was thought to be a part
early
of...
1500s. Watch this.
So long as America was thought to be a part of Asia.
Esau believed that America was and Asia were connected with no evidence. They just believed that they were connected without any evidence. None. And they claimed that there was during the Ice Age, there was an ice land bridge that connected, I think, Siberia with Alaska. And they walked, and the Indians just walked across it with a whole bunch of animals and inhabited this land. Without any evidence, no evidence of any kind proving that. None. A land bridge. No evidence of that at all. Go ahead.
So long as America was thought to be a part of Asia, or at least near it.
Or near it. Go ahead.
It appears that Europeans automatically assumed that the inhabitants of the New World were of Asiatic derivation.
And you dumb Negroes believe the same thing. They're Asian. They were Asian because the white man says it. But that's your God, right? Read on.
But when the growing evidence, capped by Magellan expedition, proved that the known parts of America were farther from Asia than from Europe, this of the presence of men in America was no longer tenable.
No proof of it. It's not. It proved to be nonsense. Later on, as further evidence came along, it was disproven that they came from that area. Go ahead.
It was almost universally believed in Europe in the early 16th century that all men were derived primarily from Adam and Eve.
That's true. Go ahead.
And secondarily from Noah and the other survivors of the flood.
True.
Animals as well as men could be traced to Noah's Ark.
Yep.
And all men and animals in the world, despite their present location, must be traced to the Ark.
Correct. Go ahead.
Tradition had it that Eden, the original home of man, was somewhere in the Near East.
It is. Go ahead. Part of Africa and extending into the Near East. Go ahead.
There was some dispute over its precise location, but the consensus was definitely in favor of Mesopotamia.
Iraq. Go ahead. But the exact location.
But the exact location did not become an important factor in tracing the first men in America until the 20th century.
1900s.
What was most important to the early commentators on the subject of Indian origin was the location of the landing place of the Ark. Here again, tradition favored the Near East. Armenia.
It is Armenia because there's a mountain there and the ship's right on top of it. They found the ship. I brought that out in class years ago. Right. They found the ship sitting right on top of the mountain, encased in a rock. It's petrified wood. Mm-hmm. And they found a boat encased in stone, and they said that the measurement is the exact measurements as the ship in the Bible. Exact measurement. And they found animal remains, animal droppings, and so forth. Go ahead.
Armenia, and since only 8 humans survived the flood, all modern peoples had to be traced to those 8 and to Armenia.
Right, because everyone was in the east, and they all spread out during the time of Babel. They all spread out. Go ahead.
It was not difficult to understand how the children of the Ark, break it down some, how the children of the Ark could multiply and spread over the continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe.
The known world. Go ahead.
Inasmuch as these continents were all part of one great landmass.
Right, because at one point in time, all the lands on the earth were all one. Then they all were, during the flood after, they split up. Because look at the map, all the lands are connected. All the lands, they all match like a puzzle.
Right.
All the lands at one time were one, all of them. All land, Esau calls it Pangea. Right. All lands, that's why people ask, well, how could the animals have survived the flood if they were on this side of the world? Because everything was still connected. Then it drifted apart. America went over here to the west, shifted over to the west. The rest of the landmass stayed over here in the east. You understand? So the animals pretty much that was on this side, they moved over along the land to this side of the world. So you wonder why they survived the flood, because after the flood took place, they got in this side of the land, then the land drifted over. All the lands began to drift apart. All lands are one at one time. Go ahead. Esau understands this.
Damn.
Go ahead.
It was also easy to comprehend that the islands adjacent to the continents could likewise be filled with men, since Noah no doubt passed the ark of navigation along to his children and grandchildren.
Uh-huh.
Renaissance...
Hold on a second. Regarding Noah, real quick, give me that thing about Ham. You sent to me. Send to them real quick. Because regarding brothers talk about, the scoffers saying, the Bible is biblical characters are fictional. Oh, they're fictional. You gotta go back to Egypt. You guys love Egypt. And the Egyptians are so gay. I don't know why I love them so much. You got gods rubbing their penis in between another god man's legs. You got one god busting a nut inside another god's lettuce and making him eat it and he get pregnant. Yeah. Then you got another god sucking himself off and getting him and swallow his own semen and get pregnant and have babies. Yeah. You want to worship that? You have fun with that. I don't believe in sucking myself off. You can worship that if you want to. Self-fellatio gods. Y'all worship that. I'm not worshiping that. We don't want to deal with that.
Blow that up.
Gay gods. No, I don't deal with gay gods. Ham. Let's see. This is how old dictionary? How old is this?
Oh, man, this is about 1870s, 1880s.
Early 1800s dictionary. Read your Ham, please. Watch this.
Ham. It is probably derived from to be warmed and signifies warm or hot.
Hot. Go ahead. Watch this.
This meaning seems to be confirmed by that of the Egyptian word kem.
Kem. Watch it. Kem. Go ahead.
Egypt, which we believe to be the Egyptian equivalent of Ham.
Y'all need to Kem it. Kem is ham. Kem is ham. That's what it means. Go ahead.
Go to the
next part.
So this is this is Ham definition.
Right.
Now we go into the Egyptian definition.
Watch this. So this Kemet stuff, Kemet is Ham. The land of Ham. That's what Kemet means. Land of Ham. Ham means black. Or not, doesn't mean how it means black.
And that's where Sodom and Gomorrah was too.
Right.
Go to the other page.
Sodomite.
That's Mizraim. We do that last. The next Egyptian, the second page I sent.
Real quick regarding Noah's children. I don't
Right there.
understand Negroes, man. If y'all gonna sit up here and make comments about Egypt and all that stuff, you better make sure you emphasize on them gods y'all worship too.
So it's the first page then. Go back to the first. That's Ham again.
Not to mention them worshiping the vagina and period blood too. Don't get me started on that, man. Let me do a series on that next.
And they were the first homosexual nation.
And there's no
God destroyed.
exactly. Now, I like to also understand where can I find homosexuality is illegal according to the Egyptians. Where is it wrong according to the Egyptians? Where's it wrong? Where's abortions wrong according to the Egyptians? They were doing that. And why are they shoving crocodile feces in their vaginas to keep them getting pregnant? Why are they doing that?
Damn.
Your honorable Egyptians you love so much. Africa. Ooh, Africa. Pull it up, please.
So this is a dictionary. So these are 3 different definitions: Ham, Egyptian, and Mizraim.
Mizraim, right. What's this one say here?
This is Egyptian. You can't blow it up no more? All right.
Yeah, we don't
move
need
it
that.
over.
We need the underlying parts. Come on.
Therefore, this is Egyptian. Therefore, we may reasonably conjecture that Kim is the Egyptian equivalent of Ham, and also a Mazur. These 2 words being similar are even the same in sense. The name Ham may have been prophetically given to Noah's son as the progenitor of the inhabitants of Egypt and neighboring hot or dark countries.
Neighboring hot or black countries, black people. Chem and Ham is the same word. So the Egyptians named the land was Ham. Egypt is a Greek word. The land was called the land of Ham or Kemet. That's what it means.
So there's Mizraim.
Mizraim is the biblical name of Egypt. The Arabs call it today, they call it Mizr, M-I-S-R. The Arab Republic of Mizr, as in short for Mizraim. Watch this.
From its correspondence to the Egyptian name of the country, Kim, which signifies black, and was given to it for the blackness of its alluvial soil.
Of its people and land and its soil. Go ahead.
We have already shown that the Hebrew word Ham, the name of the ancestor of Egyptians, is evidently the same as the native appellation of the country, which is Kim.
Which is Chem again. So that's it. That's all I want. So y'all keep on playing this Chem. The Bible's a true book. And if you don't believe, if the Bible's a fictional book, you need to explain to me where does the term Hamitic come from and where does the term Semitic come from. Let's explain it where that comes from. Where does the term Semitic language come from and Hamitic language come from? But those people that never existed. The progeny always proves the progenitor. There's no remains. Listen, where's Mansa Musa's body at? 'Cause I've been trying to find it. I can't find anywhere where it's written, where his body's buried. So he never existed? Mansa Musa? One of the wealthiest men ever? Aside from after Solomon? I try to find records where he's buried. I can't find any. So he never existed? Y'all guys are idiots, man. Oh, you get to find their remains. Where are their remains? I'm good. Find their remains. Come on with all that, man. The progeny proves the progenitor. Just because, that's like saying, well, I don't know what my father is, so I don't exist. You know how dumb that sound? I don't know what my father is, so I don't exist. I'm not real. I'm a character.
Right.
That sound like a bunch of dumbasses, man. Stop talking. Go back to where we was at now. That was a sidebar for you morons out there.
Go back to the page.
Page 9. Where do we stop at?
Think we on go up.
Yeah,
go up,
one great landmass.
Go up. I mean down. Go down.
Go down.
Sorry, go down.
Down was this great landmass right there. It would also. Come on, let's go.
It was also easy to comprehend that the islands adjacent to the continents could likewise be filled with men, since Noah no doubt passed the art of navigation along to his children and grandchildren. Renaissance man likewise readily understood that animals could spread over the Afro-Eurasian landmass with little trouble. They thought also that the nearby islands could be inhabited by animals who swam there, or were carried there by men for their own purposes.
Go ahead.
But how did men get to America? When did they go? From what part of the old world had they departed? And from that known people were they descended?
And from what known people?
And for what known people were they descended?
Stop there. Stop there. Stop there. Let's go to page 11. A lot of reading today. We're going to start at as in, and we're going to end at Bible. Start at as in, end at Bible.
As in most cases, blow me up. As in most cases of controversy in this period, the question of Indian origins was limited by the necessity to conform to Christian theology.
So they were being converted, assimilated, like the Spanish Inquisition. Same thing happened over here. They were being forced to learn white man Jesus. Read again.
As in most cases of controversy in this period, the question of Indian origins was limited by the necessity to conform to Christian theology.
Right, go ahead.
Some writers spent much of their time on the subject analyzing the various passages of the scriptures.
I'm sorry, my mistake. In this instance, it's referring to trying to figure out who the Native Americans were by biblical understanding. That's what it's saying. Go ahead. Some writers spent
much of their time on the subject analyzing the various passages of the scriptures, which could conceivably be related to the matter. Sometimes the preferred solution would rely wholly on evidence and deductions from biblical literature. Alternately, an author might offer a solution derived from accepted ancient authorities.
See that they're a solution from what?
Accepted from ancient authorities.
Ancient records, ancient authorities. So we're trying to figure out who the Indians were. Go ahead.
Many writers freely mixed ancient and scriptural references.
They mixed ancient and scriptural references regarding the Native Americans' derivation, who they derived from. Go ahead.
The latter practice was probably typical.
The latter practice, scriptural references, was typical. They needed the Bible to figure out who they were on this side. Continue. We're going to go to at no time.
At no time. I'm sorry. No. Come on. I'm going to read the paragraph right here too, right?
Right there, at no time.
At no time in the period before 1729 did anyone offer an origin theory which could not be made consistent with the Bible. Sometimes, as in the case of Isaac de la Paré and his postulate.
Wait. Go back again. I'm sorry, go again. At no time what?
At no time in the period before 1729 did anyone offer an origin theory which could not be made consistent with the Bible.
So you cannot bring out any information unless it went with the Bible. Esau had to bring up information only if it referred to the Bible. If it was not biblical, they didn't deal with it. Regarding the origin of the Native Americans. Okay? Now, let's go to page 13. Brother's over there asleep. Go to page 13. Too clearly distinguished. Too clearly distinguished traditions. We're going to stop at origins.
Two clearly distinguished traditions have emerged from my investigations, the Akustan and the Garcian.
So you had two distinct arguments. You had the Akustan argument of them being from the Bering Straits, which is nonsense, and you had the Garcian, who spoke to them and they told them they were Israelites. Two opposing arguments. Go ahead.
The first, marked by skepticism with regard to cultural comparisons.
So the first was marked by Acosta, his own skepticism, his own opinion, his own suspicions. Go ahead.
Considerable restraint in constructing theories and a great reliance on geographical and final considerations is named for Joseph de Acosta, who gave it its earliest clear expression in his Historia Natural y Moral of 1589 to 1590. The Garcian tradition, named for the author of The Origin de los Indios,
Of the Indians. That's the book I have right now. We're reading now. Go ahead.
1607, is characterized by strong adherence to ethnological comparisons.
To their racial comparisons. So one argument is his own opinions, his own hypothesis. The other is based upon their race, their descendants. Go ahead.
A tendency to accept transatlantic migration.
And how they came from one side of the world to the other. It was this argument. Go ahead.
And an acceptance of possible origins as probable origins.
Right. Go to page 15. We're going to start at the belief that.
I'll blow it up. Page 15.
So what I'm showing y'all right now, it's a lot of reading, is that you had Joseph Acosta was pushing that based upon the plants and the animals he saw that are in Asia, he's saying, oh, because they're over here, these guys are Asians. They had to have crossed a land bridge. There's no evidence of that.
No proof.
None. The reason why you had animals from that land of the east over here is because all the land was one great landmass. They just went over to this side. Then as time went on, the lands began to what? Shift apart because of the flood and so forth. They shifted apart. So this land was all over here, and the rest of the majority of the rest of the world stayed in the eastern hemisphere. You understand? So the animals just came over here. The land shifted over. He's like, "Ooh, these animals are in Asia. They must be Asians. Look at the grass. Oh, the grass looks Asian." He's retarded, man. And you stupid ass Negroes sit there and listen to this guy. You believe him. Garcia said, "Excuse me, Native Americans, what are you? We're Israelites." Okay, they're Israelites. They told me they're Israelites. But the grass is clearly Asian. And people listen to this. Look at the horse. This horse is Asian. And y'all listen to this.
No other records. He just
He just made. I gotta say, he just made shit up.
That's why.
I gotta say, he just made it up. And niggas is like, yeah.
Hey, Dig, they was like, hey, look, a tree. I saw one in Asia.
Right. So he must be Asians. That's his logic. That was his logic.
We believe this crap because
We
we,
believe
think
it.
the white man is so smart and
And
brilliant.
Garcia was like, yo, we spoke to them. And they told us where is it? Let me go back to it again. Their ethnological comparisons. Ethno is their race. Their racial comparisons, what they were doing, their customs, their language. Garcia dealt with that. He dealt with the people themselves. Acosta dealt with the nature, the plants, the natural area, the horses. That had nothing to do with their race. Let's continue. Where we at? I'm sorry, I got angry and went on a tangent. That was like dumb stuff, stupid stuff.
Hey, D, we got 2
were
minutes to break.
All right, 2 minutes to break. All right, so read this paragraph, we'll go to break.
All right.
Where we at?
The belief that the Indians were inferior to Europeans, no doubt predominated.
So the belief that the Indians were inferior to Europeans, it was dominant in their theories regarding them. Watch this.
After all, the Indians did not live accordingly to Christian ideals.
They did not live according to white man Jesus. Go ahead.
Yet many writers specifically affirmed their belief that the Indians were descendants of Noah, and as such must be capable of reason.
Right, the Americans told them what? We derived from Shem. We read that earlier. Go ahead.
Though this fact might be obscured by their idolatrous practices,
Well, that's common because Northern Kingdom was prone to idolatry. Go ahead.
most writers believe the Indians could become Christians.
Go ahead.
Such a belief was also implicit in the missionizing.
Now, Esau referred to their idolatrous practices, which was Judaism. If it's not white man Jesus, the white man says it's idolatrous. If it's not worshiping white man Jesus or worshiping them as God, they consider that to be idolatrous practices or witchcraft. The same thing in Spain, in the Inquisition. If you were observing Judaism, they had a witch hunt for you. They would burn you at the stake for idolatrous practices. Same thing on this side of the world. Continue.
in the missionizing activities of the church and in the decree of Clement VII in 1530, authorizing the use of force in converting the natives.
Right, by force, converting it like the same as Inquisition. Same thing. History repeating itself on this side of the world as it did in Spain and Portugal. Go ahead. And Africa. Go ahead.
Paul III made it explicit in his bull,
Sublimis Deus. Go ahead.
of 1537, which states that the Indians are truly men and are not only capable of understanding the Catholic faith, but desire exceedingly to receive it.
That's a lie, because why is it by force? See, we between the lines, they just lie out their mouth. So we're going to take a break right there. Just stay tuned, stay tuned, relax. You Scott business corners, be mad, you're going to be all right.
That's
Shalom.
right. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
damn hound dog, man. Come on, man. Bring your slow ass on. Come on, bro.
How long we been out here? Been out here for a while.
What we do now?
You know what? We going to turn back now. Master never know we left. He never know we
Turn
left.
back? You said turn back?
Hell no, bro.
Man, we can't turn
Can't
back.
turn back.
You see what happened to Toby? Kunta, they cut his foot off.
Right.
The other guy we just passed, man, he's hanging. He turned back, they left him hanging right there. We can't go back. You know what happened to us? Hey, yo, get aloud. Tell them about what happened in your dream.
Look, I was on my bed last night, and I think I was like in a trance or a vision or something. I might have been dreaming. And I saw a big black angel, right? He told me to get Gidron, and Gidron insisted we bring you, right? He said, go east towards Jerusalem. He said, go east towards Jerusalem. That's the way to the truth. That's the way to the light. All right? So that's where we go, all right? We can't give up, bro, all right? Come on. Let's go. Come on. Who are you? Bible, Deuteronomy 28. The truth about slavery.
What does this mean?
Ask him. Where you go? Where you go?
Crown the kings, crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me. Champion sound, king me. They want me in cuffs, enough is enough, free me. I'm calling your bluff, you ain't no Greek, ski weed. Ooh, not Q's, not nukes. Cargos, black boots, you know what to do, salute. Wartime excellence. We strong in the power of his might. Out of darkness in the light. Gold streets in my sight. Who's the king? Christ. Who am I, Israelite? You know what that mean, right? He giving me the crown of life. Ha! Go rolling through the fire. Purge out my impurities as I do what's required. Light it up, take me higher. Level 12 ain't high enough. 144,000 riders right behind him when he crown the kings. Know what I mean? Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me.
Crown the kings, the Lord is King of kings. We kings and priests stricken, this theme is black extreme is. Media blackout, Christ he black, we bringing it back out. Daniel 10:6, Revelation 1:14, that Jesus white bread slice. Still in the forefront, same trying to push to the background. Still the truth gon' cover the earth like Feast of Tabernacle campground. Come against and be happily found and be fighting against God. Stand down. Yo, Dr. Tours long, see how you still selling it. Yo, Dr. Tours long, see why they still buying it. It's bland and it's tasting twisted. Okay, you don't see me, but it's beneficial. The line stop right here at Mason Dixon. Hold the line. Free me. Exodus 5 and 1 repeat. Luke 174 3D. With my glasses at GP. Crown me.
Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean. clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went from broke, got proud of me. Yeah.
This right here is so electric. Country bumpkin, wake 'em up, narcoleptic. In pain to be delivered like we expected. Crown my king and yes, he black, y'all gon' accept it. Give me a minute. Country kings always in the building. You're super blind and can't see the vision. I think you lost focus on the mission. Yeah, we making hits back to back like Alabama and Mississippi. Twin crowns for the twin states. God promised us to get the gates. This that dirty. This the streets where kings were made. Where we picked a whole field of cotton while the white man was sipping lemonade. Crown is back where it belongs. Yeah, the South got something to say. Turn up the heat. Country kings ruling over our enemy.
Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me. Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me.
Crown the king with the founder things. Oops, I mean finer things. I'm a king, I ain't trying to bling, but my light shine like a diamond ring. My rhyming scheme so futuristic, for you to get it, need a time machine. Platinum crown with the green stones, or southern call them lima beans. This burrow, right? I'm melting ice, my gummy dripping pearl white. These matching braces with these platinum swirls tight. Stay fresh to death, prepare to rule the world, right? I'm that bread third type. That be posted at your corner stores with everything you wanna know. Got preset packs and fly stacks in my Bible strap like Geronimo. Babylon is gonna blow, then all hail the King of Kings. He gon' soon the throne and his rule is long, and the 12 tribes gon' bling and bling.
Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me. Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, got proud of me.
We're back.
Shalom.
Shalom, we're back. To piss you off again. We're just getting started. The Bering Strait. Setting the record straight about the Bering Strait being garbage. Let's see. Where we at? Where were we now? We were at page 15, right?
Yes, sir.
Catholic faith, but desire to receive it. We're gonna end that page. Keep going down. Certain factors.
Blow it up. Certain factors appear to lend credence to the assumption, credence to the assumption that there was a belief in the non-human character of the Indians.
See that? So they're subhuman. They believe that they were subhuman or inferior to whites. Go ahead.
For one, the assertion in a papal bull that the Indians are truly men indicate that the point was in dispute.
See that? So some are saying these guys aren't humans. And some are saying they are truly men. You're human beings. Some of these souls like, nah, these guys aren't humans. They're savages. Go ahead.
That implication, however, should not be greatly emphasized. The primary purpose of Sublimis Deus, other than the missionary objective, was to confirm the right of the Indians to possess property.
See that? So the argument of them being men or not was not more so that they believed they weren't human, but basically was to prove that whether they deserved to have their land or not. See, if you're a savage and you're a monkey and you're a nigger or you're a spick or nothing, you're not entitled to any land or property or possession of anything. The same way they feel about us today, that's how I felt about this on this side of the world back then. Nothing has changed. That's why they call it manifest destiny. This land was destined for us to take possession of it. People that are here are not human. They're three-fifths of a man. They're subhuman. They're savages. They're nothing. So therefore, they don't deserve to have this land that they have. They don't deserve it. We're going to take. They're truly men, but in order for them to have any land, they must learn to be white like us in the mind. Go ahead.
Thus preventing wholesale confiscation by the Spanish settlers. Paul affirmed that the Indians were truly men as part of his rationale for confirming their property rights.
Go ahead.
This interpretation is supported, though not definitely, of course, by the absence of any literary exposition of the ideal that the Indians were animals or creatures of the devil rather than men.
Go ahead.
The writers appear to not have noticed such a possibility. Few even questioned the ability of the Indians to reason. Therefore, although some men may have believed the Indians to be of non-human stock.
See? Same as us. Black folks, same thing. Non-human stock. Go ahead.
The ideal does not seem to have been seriously proposed. The literary debate on the problems raised by the presence of men in the New World began in 1535 with the publication of the year
of the first part of I got page 16. First part of
Gonzalo Fernandez de
Oviedo. Keep that name in mind. Oviedo in mind. Go ahead.
Y Valdez.
Go ahead.
Historia General y Natural de las Indias.
Islas
y Terra.
Well, yeah. Motto.
Officer Don, what you here for?
Don
It says,
come on, man.
It says Historia General y Natural de las Indias, Islas y Tierra Firme del Mar Océano in Sevilla.
Translate. That mean
natural and general history of the Indies, of the Indian Islands, and the land by the ocean in Sevilla, which is Madrid, which is Spain.
Spain. Okay. Sevilla. I know I got the Sevilla part right. I remember that. Sevilla. Go ahead.
All praises.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Go
No
ahead.
problem. No praises.
Go ahead.
Other men, such as Pedro Sancho, Francisco de Xeres, Cortez, and Miguel de Estete had already written first-hand accounts of America. Their accounts were, however, concerned wholly with military and political developments. Their comments on the Indians were of little ethnological value. Sancho.
So their comments were of little ethnological meaning regarding their race. Their writings regarding the Native Americans was little value regarding what their race was. Go ahead.
Sancho, in a passage typical of much of the other works, stated in his account of the conquest of Peru that the people of this province, as well men as women, are very filthy, and they have large hands, and the province is very large. The reports of most of the conquistadores were similarly uninformative.
They're busy raping and robbing, so they didn't really care much. Go ahead.
With Oviedo, the pattern of comment changed. His purpose differed from that of previous writers in that it was historical. Columbus and Vespucci concerned themselves with description. Angleria.
Remember that name? Angleria. Go ahead. Angleria. Go ahead.
Angleria produced a chronological narrative. The other commentators wrote largely for political and apologetical reasons. Oviedo brought good credentials to his task. He had traveled in the Caribbean region of America extensively and could therefore write with considerable first-hand knowledge. Furthermore, he had the writing of all other commentators on the American continent.
That's the Kingsborough. The Kingsborough gathered all the accounts together regarding them saying who they were, being Israelites. Go ahead.
Oviedo had already written a brief Sumario de la Natural Historia de las Indias in 1526. His Historia General was the result then of both personal experience and long acquaintance with the literature on America.
Stop. Go to
Move that
two
cursor.
opinions.
Move the cursor to the side. Move the cursor to the side.
Go to the bottom. Offer two opinions.
Oviedo offered two opinions about the place of origin of the Indians.
Watch this. Oviedo's opinion. Watch this.
On the one hand, he hinted that Carthage might be their ancestral home.
He hinted that Carthage might be their ancestral home.
Wow.
Why do you think Carthage is their home? Carthage. Read on.
On the other, he thought it most likely that the earliest inhabitants.
Yeah, I gave her that, right? I said I didn't give you 17, right? I didn't give you 17. No. I thought I gave that. I didn't give that 17 to write down?
That's the page we need right now, D.
I'm going to read it. Yes. Yeah, take it. Take the book.
Here, let me take a picture and I'll send it to you.
Where is it? Oh, I'm reading it. God.
I'll take a picture real quick. I'll send it to y'all real quick.
Yeah. All right, so this guy believed that they came from Carthage. This guy came from Carthage. So you have numerous accounts. So this guy, Oviedo, gave the account that they may have come from Carthage. That they may have come from the land of Carthage. And most writers didn't really give an account regarding their race. Just more showed the description, how they looked, what they were wearing, things like that. Columbus more so focused on how they behaved. But Garcia, and after him, they start to ask questions. Like, okay, we're going to talk to them, make them learn Spanish. And then we're going to ask them, once they learn Spanish, who they descend from, who they come from. And we read the accounts numerous times that they told the natives, they told the white man, that they are, that they're Israelites. Okay?
So inhabitants, blow it up for me a little bit. Inhabitants of the New World, descended from the ancient Spaniards.
Stop. He thought it was most likely that the earliest inhabitants of the New World descended from the ancient Spaniards. Ancient, not the white ones.
All right.
The ones that were there first. We're gonna thank you. Now you're good. The ancient Spaniards goes back to the Carthaginians, goes back to our forefathers conquering southern Spain. But I'm gonna get to later on regarding the ancient Spaniards. Continue. We're gonna read where am I at? Let's see. Based on Aristotle's. Keep going.
All right. The inhabitants of the New World descended from the ancient Spaniards. Oviedo's Carthaginian story introduced into the origin literature, the most persistent of all the transatlantic origin theories. The story revolves around a statement attributed to Aristotle by one Theophilus de Ferreris. Ferreris in his Admiradis. Help me out, Officer Don.
That's not Spanish, but it says Admirandis in natura auditis.
That's Latin.
It's Latin, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The work by Aristotle from which this story was taken.
So he got this history of them being from being ancient, derived from ancient Spaniards by Aristotle. Watch this.
Officer Don.
Mirabilibus aut secultatinubus.
What that mean?
That's Latin.
It's Latin. You don't know. That's Latin. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. Shoot.
You read it the same as Spanish, but
Latin. All right. Good. Read on. Was not what?
Was not available to the men of the Renaissance except by way of Theophilus.
Go ahead.
Fernando Colon,
go ahead.
who apparently knew the story from Greek as well as Latin sources, included a Spanish translation of his own in his biography of his father.
I believe Fernando Colon is Columbus' son. Go ahead.
Since the story recurred so frequently, a translation for Fernando follows.
Yeah, so I want that. Yeah, read that. Read this right here. So read this.
It is said that some Carthaginian merchants in ancient times found in the Atlantic beyond the Pillars of Hercules a certain island which had never been inhabited except by savage beasts. It was all forest with many navigable rivers and abound in all things that nature had produced. But it was many days sailing from the mainland. On arriving there, the Carthaginian merchants, seeing that the land was good because of its fertility and its temperate climate, settled down. But the Carthaginian Senate, angered by this, publicly decreed that no one could go to the island under pain of death. Those who had first gone were condemned to death and ordered that news of the island not teach other nations. Not reach other nations. And some stronger empire take possession of it and thus make it contrary to and inimical to the liberties of Carthage.
Right, so he believes that they came over here based upon that history, the Carthaginians, that they're ancient Carthaginians. We'll get to that later on, about why he came to that understanding. Let's go to page 19. Page 19. It's going to get better. There's a lot of reading, y'all. But watch this. I'm going to get there. We're going to start at some Spaniards, and we're going to end at evidence also.
Some Spaniards did not receive Oviedo's Historia General y Natural Fabili. Blow it up.
Some Spaniards did not receive Oviedo's historical account regarding the Native Americans. Go ahead.
All right. Some Spaniards did not receive Oviedo's Historia General y Natural favorably, and in later years, several commentators took exception to his theories.
Go ahead. Some did. Go ahead.
One of the first literary consequences of the work was to spur Christopher Columbus' son Fernando to write a biography of his father.
Right, Fernando Colon. That's his son. So if there's one that was angry at his account was Columbus's son. Remember, Columbus knew who the Native Americans were, and he obviously told his son. So his son said, "This guy's making things up. I know what they are. My father told me what these guys are. Watch this."
Vida del Emirante Don Cristobal Colon.
Oh, gosh.
He almost got it right. He almost got it right.
Oh, okay.
Hey, all praises. Confirmed.
All jacked up, but he got almost.
Oh, how it go again?
It said Vida del Admirante Don Cristobal Colon.
Meaning?
The life of the admirable Cristobal Colon.
All right, go ahead.
Thanks, man. Written largely to correct certain real and presumed errors respecting Christopher.
Go ahead.
The son was particularly incensed by Oviedo's attempt to rob his father of the glory of being the first discoverer of the New World.
So he's mad. So this guy was saying, this guy's trying to take my father's credit from discovering the world, discovering this side of the world. So he was angry. So Fernando Columbus, or Fernando Colon, was angered by Oviedo's account. He said, my father was here. He knows more than you. He's making things up. So he was angered by Oviedo's account. Go ahead.
He completed the biography before 1539, but unfortunately he did not publish it.
Go ahead.
The book appeared first in an Italian translation in 1571. His arguments are however, germane, and they illustrate the availability and types of information which could be turned against the Oviedo position.
Right, he was in opposition to Oviedo's account. Read on.
Fernando stated his critique of Oviedo's Carthaginian and Hesperian theories by calling them fantasies.
So he's saying this guy is making things up. That Carthaginian account that he got from Aristotle, it's not really true. Now, it's partially true because the Carthaginians are Israelites. So that part is true, but he's saying them coming over here based upon that account is not true. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Void of reason or foundation. He then made a detailed analysis of each story. Fernando charged that much of Oviedo's trouble stemmed from the fact that he did not know Latin and had to rely on someone else's bad translation.
This guy's an idiot. So this guy's a liar and an idiot. He doesn't know anything. Go ahead.
He quoted the tale of Aristotle from a Greek version and berated Oviedo for his errors.
So he's saying that this guy misread Aristotle's account. It's misread. It's mistranslated, he's saying. Go ahead.
Fernando also pointed out that Aristotle himself had cast doubt on the validity of the story.
So he's saying, we just read earlier about them coming to this side of the world or coming to some part of the world that may have been this side of the world, is even Aristotle himself had doubts regarding that account. Go ahead.
The validity of the story by beginning it with a word beginning, meaning it is told, rather than claiming he had it on authority.
Right, meaning rather than saying it as an assumption, he's saying it as of certainty. It's saying here it is told, it is factual. Go ahead.
The younger Columbus doubted the validity of the tale from internal evidence also.
That's what I want. Read it again.
The younger Columbus doubted the validity of the tale from internal evidence also.
So he doubted the theory of Oviedo from internal evidence also. Thank you. Internal evidence also. What internal evidence could that be? Now, let's get the book I have, Columbus, The Glory. I gotta read along with y'all. It's internal evidence. What internal evidence could Columbus' son, Fernando Colon, be talking about? Internal evidence. Let's see. This big old book here.
Bring it out.
Let's see. Page 68. Hold on, I'm gonna get there with you. I wanna read along with y'all. This is fun. This is the fun part. Page 68 and page 68. Read that.
However, Columbus was not alone in believing the voyage was manageable, though his connections through blow me up, load up. A little bit, back it up a little bit. All right. Voyage was manageable. Through his connections, he heard of a letter received by the Portuguese court from the Florentine cosmographer, Pablo Toscanelli, convinced of the feasibility of the Atlantic route.
Wait. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Feasibility. I'm
However,
sorry.
Columbus was not alone in believing the voyage was manageable. Through his connections, he heard of a letter received by the Portuguese court from the Florentine cosmographer Paolo Toscanelli, convinced of the feasibility of the Atlantic route. Go ahead.
Toscanelli had even enclosed a map of it
Go ahead.
in 1481 or 1482. Columbus corresponded with him directly.
With Toscanelli directly, go ahead, regarding the manageability of traveling from one side of the world to this side of the world. Is it manageable? Remember, they thought the earth was flat. But Toscanelli was saying, no, it's possible to come over here. You can get to this side of the world. Go ahead.
Toscanelli's reply was encouraging. I esteem your noble and grand desire to navigate from the east to the west.
Hemisphere, go ahead.
For the said voyage. Said voyage is not only possible, but is sure and certain and will bring honor.
Right, I'm sure you'll make it. You're not going to fall off the earth. I'm sure there's land over there. You'll be honorable. You'll be honored once you get over there. Go ahead.
He wrote, this moral support was welcome, but the map, a copy of which Toscanelli sent to Columbus, showed the distance to Asia to be about 4,000 miles and depicted many islands in between. Much has been made of this map by some historians, but based as it was on pure fantasy.
Means not real. It wasn't a real map. The map wasn't genuine. Go ahead.
It could have been of no practical use for the navigation.
He didn't use that map. It was based upon nonsense. Watch this.
Columbus could even prop up his solution with data from an unimpeachable source.
Hold on. Columbus can prop up his solution of data from an unimpeachable source, which is what?
The Holy Scriptures.
Scriptural references. Read on. Continue.
If a degree at the equator was 56 2/3 miles, that meant the globe was 20,400 miles around.
Around, not flat. Around. Go ahead.
According to the second book of Esdras.
Oh. But according to the second book of Esdras, go ahead.
Of this circumference.
Of this surround earth, go ahead.
The Lord created 6 parts land and 1 part water.
Go ahead.
Thus, on religious authority.
On what?
On religious authority.
On religious authority. Internal evidence Fernando got from his father. Go ahead.
The gap between east and west must be 2,900 miles, 906 leagues, even less if measured from the Canaries.
So he's telling you how far the Eastern Hemisphere is from the Western Hemisphere, from Spain and over to this side of the world, using the second book of Esdras. That's what he had.
Wow.
That's the same thing with that in that movie,
1492.
1492.
1492. Let's see.
He probably made the movie using this book, right?
Yeah, probably. Let's get the participation. The participation now. I want that. Page 15 to 16. I told you I was going to go back to that part where it said, I messed my Bible up. That part when it said, St. Domingo in Cuba. Remember that? I said we'll go back to that again. I ain't forget. God, my Bible written jacked up. Jesus Christ. That book, page 15, I think I want it.
Oh, you talking about we read earlier about San Domingo and Cuba
Yeah.
knowing half Hebrew.
Right. They're gonna go right back to it again. I haven't lost that thought at all. Page 15 and 16. Now, this book, Participation, that I'm reading here. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you this book. I have to give you this book because it's going to be referenced in the next thing I'm going to show y'all. So this book is called Christopher Columbus
Yeah, you can give that.
and the Participation of the Jews in the Spanish-Portuguese Discoveries by Meyer Kaiserling. Okay?
Take a picture of it.
Christopher Columbus.
You guys get this one.
Y'all can have this one because,
Yeah.
only because
We've been had this thing.
right, we had it for a while, and because it's referenced by something else we're going to read later on. All right. And post it up for everybody to see it. Y'all can have this one.
All right, let's come.
Order mine before it goes up.
What was the last book you brought? This one, right?
These two.
There you go, Israel. There's a book.
There you go. There's a book right there. Only because it's unavoidable. I have to reference it by name. I can't hide it.
Piece of meat.
Christopher Columbus and the participation of the what? Let's say again. Of the Jews and the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries, because he had Jews as his shipmates to help discover this part of the world. He had a lot of Jews and Moors and Spaniards on his ship that were used as translators. To talk to the Indians on this side of the world. That's his internal evidence he's talking about, that his son is referring to. Fernando is referring to. Now, page 15. Let's go. I have some gainsayers that left up out of here talking real dumb about this book. I'm gonna embarrass you too, and just embarrass you in your stupidity. Page 15.
Where want me to start at, Deke?
This is page 15. Start from
He was also.
He was also, yeah. It's referring to Columbus. I'll start. It says page 14 says, this book interested Columbus so much that he exerted 3 whole chapters. Watch this.
He was also very fond of reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra.
Or 2nd book of Ezra. He was very fond of reading the 4th book of Ezra. Go ahead.
Which was probably written by a Jew who lived outside of Palestine.
Go ahead.
According to his own assertion, the incentive that impelled him to plan his discoveries was not a love of science.
But what?
But his interpretation of the prophecies of Isaiah.
Woo! So not only did he believe in America based upon Esdras, he believed in America based upon the prophecies found in Isaiah. I'm going to bring that out later on also. Isaiah making reference to the Americas also. Continue.
In Portugal, Columbus earnestly conceived the ideal of making maritime discoveries by way of the west. He wished to find a new ocean route to the regions of Cathay and Capango, which were reputed to be rich in gold and spices, and also to the realm of the priest King John, whose letter to the Pope Eugene IV or to Emperor Frederick III, a Jew, is said to have first published in the middle of the 15th century.
1400s, go ahead.
Henry the Navigator had already conceived a similar plan, and the Portuguese kings never lost sight of it.
Go ahead.
This bold conception took firm root in the mind of Columbus, mainly through a letter which the great Florentine physician and astrologer Toscanelli,
remember that? Toscanelli, go ahead.
Sent to King John
King John II, go ahead.
Through the monk
Fernando Martinez. That's page 16.
Fernando Martinez. Columbus applied to Toscanelli for a copy of this letter and received it through Garati, a Genoese, who was then living in Lisbon.
That's a Spaniard. Genoese is Spaniard. Genoese is Spain. Go ahead.
Columbus at length proceeded to carry out his project. He laid before King Jao a proposition.
Now, King John II was the same guy that Bishop brought out in class that had us kicked out of Spain and Portugal. We fled into Africa. He brought a lot of slaves into the islands of Saint Tomé and Guinea. That was St. John II. It's St. Jao or St. John. It's the same guy. Same guy. Go ahead.
Columbus at length proceeded to carry out his project. He laid before King Jao a proposition to lead a squadron along the African coast and thence across the ocean to the land whose wealth Marco Polo had so misleadingly described.
Mm-hmm.
The sullen, distrustful monarch regarded Columbus as a visionary babbler.
He didn't believe Columbus at all. Go ahead.
And especially on account of the navigator's enormous demands. Saw in his scheme more pride than truth. But Jao laid the matter before his nautical junta, consisting of Diego Ortiz, Bishop of Ceuta, and the court physicians, Joseph and Rodrigo. They regarded the project as chimerical and said that the whole plan rested on Columbus' visionary conception of Marco Polo's island of Capango. Nevertheless, the king considered the matter of such importance that he submitted it for further consideration to his council of state.
So there was an argument regarding Columbus's voyage, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I even had that there. Go to page 98 now. Page 98 and 99. So they were arguing about whether Columbus's trip was true or based upon his opinion, but then eventually they gave him a ship, and he gave him a crew, and this during the time he was allowed to sail out was the Inquisition. So many of our brothers who were trying to escape that persecution of the Inquisition, they decided to aid Columbus on his trip to this side of the world.
Of more interest than the mode of migration is the question whether any analogies in language, in traditions, in religious conceptions, or in religious ceremonies justify the acceptance of this ethnological theory.
Go ahead.
Rodin's chief argument in support of his view is the language of the Indians in Española,
Española.
Cuba, Jamaica, and the adjoining islands.
Yeah, like DR, San Domingo. Go ahead.
He contends that it has many resemblances to Hebrew.
To what?
Hebrew.
Hebrew. They're adjoining islands. Go ahead.
In fact, he even calls it corrupted Hebrew.
Watch this.
He asserts that such names as Cuba and Haiti are Hebrew.
Oh. Cuba and Haiti are Hebrew words. Go ahead.
And that they were first applied by the earliest caciques, the chiefs or leaders, Cassim, who discovered and peopled the islands.
Right, go ahead. They named the lands. Go ahead.
The names of rivers and of persons in use among the natives are derived from the Hebrew.
The names of rivers are also Hebrew. Go ahead.
For example, hyena from the Hebrew ayin, stream.
Stream. Go ahead.
Jonas from Jonah.
Jonas is from Jonah.
Yake from Jacob.
Yake from Jacob.
Yeres from Urias. Sabao from Seba. Masa from
Maisi. Like mais. Mais is what? From Moisi, as in Moses. Go ahead.
The names of their tools, of their little canoes, are Kansas. The name Axi for pepper. The name of the storehouse for maize.
For maize. Go ahead.
Maize, grain, and the like. All point to the Hebrew language.
Continue. Keep on going.
Their rites and ceremonies, as well as their language, from one of the main arguments in favor of this theory of descent. Circumcision prevailed among the Indians. They often bathed in rivers
and streams.
They refrained from touching the dead and from tasting blood. They had definite fast days. Marriage with sister-in-laws was permitted if they were childless widows. Wives were discarded for new helpmates. They also sacrificed first fruits on high mountains and under shady trees.
These days.
They had temples and carried a holy ark before them in time of war. They were also, like the 10 tribes, inclined to idol worship.
Like the 10 tribes inclined to idol worship. Go ahead.
All writers and travelers agree, moreover, that there were
All writers and travelers agree what?
Moreover, that there were many Jewish types of face among the Indians, the Aborigines of America.
Same face, same faces, same features as the Jews in Spain had over here. Go ahead.
The question whether the American Indians are descendants of the Jews, whether they are the offspring of the lost 10 tribes, has often been answered in both the affirmative and the negative. But it has not yet been definitely settled.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Yes, it has. It's not. I just want you to know. So now, let's go to the Jews and go to medieval. Next one, medieval empire, because y'all ain't getting this either. Looks like $500. Medieval empire on page 29 and 30. Shout out to Officer Rubin for getting this thing, because I know damn well I wasn't going to be able to get it no time soon. Page 29. It should have, don't show the book now. Page 29. If you already showed it, too bad. Page 29.
Which one is this?
Don't bother. It's like $500. Right?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah, this
book,
PDF. This book is out of order.
PDF it. This PDF it.
I've been working.
Yeah, just PDF it. Page 29. Blow it up.
Donate to my PayPal.
Oh, gosh. Here we go. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can eat next week.
Sitting outside reading.
We have a house made of books. We're going to do a bridge.
Oh, man. Blow it up a little bit more. All right.
Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Right there. Come on.
Ecuador. As regards the South American Indians and their possible relationship to the lost tribes of Israel. An article was published in the Israeli newspaper.
In the what paper?
In the Israeli newspaper.
Israeli newspaper. The so-called paper. Go ahead.
The Mariv. December 1974, with the following content.
Following content. The hell is this? Content with the following content. Go ahead.
In 1587,
go ahead.
The Jesuit Nicholas Delisle,
whatever.
South America by the King of Spain for missionary purposes.
To teach them Christianity. Watch this.
To convert the Indians to Christianity.
That was his mission. Watch this.
In Argentina.
In where?
In Argentina.
Argentina. Go ahead.
Nicholas discovered a people who bore Jewish names.
So the people of Argentina had Jewish names. What were their names? Read.
Nicholas discovered a people who bore Jewish names, namely Abraham,
They had names Abraham over there in Argentina.
David, Moses, and so forth.
Like the people, remember in this book over here, this book, same thing in the other islands. Same thing. Jacob, Urias, Moses, same thing. Go ahead.
To the question about whether they were circumcised, these people answered thus.
They said, that's what?
Yes, just like our ancestors.
We are circumcised, like our ancestors are circumcised. Go ahead.
It's this same region where found stone knives used for circumcision. Sharpened stone knives are mentioned also in the Bible as special instruments for completion of the rite of circumcision.
Yep, go ahead, watch this.
An Argentine tribe where a stone slab with these commandments was found causes no less interest.
With 3 commandments. Go ahead.
With 3 commandments was found causes no less interest. Do not
steal.
Do not.
Nope. Go to the bottom. It's to the bottom. You on the wrong page. Go back to the book again. Go back to it again. Do not steal.
Do not steal. Do not lie. And do not kill.
They had commandments on stones. Do not steal, lie, or kill. Go ahead.
One may assume that these commandments are from the Old Testament.
And that they appear to where? Go to the next one.
May assume.
One may assume. You know how Esau does. And that they may appear, they what?
And that they may appear in these lands before the arrival of the Spaniards.
They appeared in these lands before the arrival of the Spaniards. Go ahead.
In 1974, in this very same region were found round stone slabs.
With what?
With menorahs. 7-pointed candlestick.
They had stone slabs with menorahs etched into them. Why would these natives have menorahs etched in stone and commandments there with Hebrew names? Why? What other nation would do that? The Chinese do that? The Japanese do that? Go ahead.
Along the sides of these menorahs in the Aramaic language was the inscription Passover.
Damn! They got damn Passover written there. On the menorah on stone. Go ahead.
The Aramaic language, we recall, is a language of ancient Israel.
Watch this.
Along the slab was found a long stone.
Along that slab of Passover and the menorah on it is what?
In a shape which resembles a brick.
A long stone next to it and resembles a brick. Go ahead.
With an engraving of a ship.
With the engraving of a ship on it saying what?
The emblem of the Zebulon tribe.
Of the Zebulon tribe. On the ship.
Hey, Dick,
on the
what
stone.
book is that? Let me see that real quick.
Wait, let's finish first.
Can I afford that one?
Go ahead.
$1,000.
Hey, if you want to donate to my book drive,
the book drive.
Yeah, my book drive called.
Hey, Cap,
I ain't got it.
I just looked at it.
What's up?
$999.
Like I said, don't ignore the prices. I know some of you guys got long money. So donate to the Captain Joel book drive. You can put it in the description. You can donate to IOIC.New Jersey at IsraelUnite.org. Put in the description Captain Joel book drive.
Wow.
All right? Help me, help you.
Wow. Go ahead.
Right. And with engraved word Zipporah, the name of Moses' wife.
Damn.
And perhaps the name of the ship.
The name of what?
The ship.
The name of the ship
that they took to get
over here. They called it Zipporah after Moses' wife.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Does this mean that the Jews sailed here on a ship?
Yes. That's what it means.
Damn.
They sailed here on a ship. Yes, that's exactly what it means. Read on.
Scientists think that this stone is nearly 3,000 years old.
It is. Go ahead.
It must be said that the problem of the South American Jewish Indians has been occupying minds in Europe since as early as the 17th century.
As early as the 1600s. Watch this.
The Amsterdam rabbi Manasseh ben Israel devoted many years to it.
Go ahead.
A deeply religious man. He believed that there existed on earth the mysterious sabbatical river, Sabantian, which is mentioned in the Talmud.
Nonsense. But he did believe that the Native Americans were Israelites. That he believed was true. That Sabantian thing is mythical nonsense. So, it's the book right here. Cap.
Where? Which one?
This one here.
Okay, I'm just gonna borrow this for a little bit.
Now let's go to Jewish Encyclopedia now. Jewish Encyclopedia, Arsarith.
Bring it out.
Yeah.
Jewish Encyclopedia, Arsarith.
So you Northern Kingdom and share those videos.
This is the Jewish Encyclopedia. Remember, we read earlier from a Jewish. This is from a Jewish magazine of 1974 regarding the the Argentinian natives having Hebrew names and customs. in all kinds of inscriptions in stone of the commandments in a ship that they used to sell over here named Zipporah, in the Zebulon emblem on the stone.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Let me try to get the actual book instead
What?
of this.
No, I want this. You'll see why. Blow it up, move it up. All I want is that. Get rid of them faces over there. All I want is the paragraph. Well, if you what you gotta do, then he's gonna read. Just move it over as he reads it. Or bring it in some. Or look at it on your phone, Jess. We ain't gotta mess around and be doing all this nonsense. Bring it out some. Bring it out. You're right there and move it over.
Let's move it over. I'll be all right.
It won't move over. That's annoying.
Wow. Okay.
All right. You got it? Yeah, that's annoying.
All right. Arsarif, the Jewish encyclopedia. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to 4th Esdras.
Restoration's going into Israel coming back together as one. And according to 4th Esdras, that you have Ezra, Nehemiah, 1st Esdras, and 2nd Esdras. So it's referred to either as 2nd Esdras or it's referred to as 4th Esdras. Go ahead.
Chapter 13, verse 45.
Verse 45. Go ahead.
Columbus identified America with this land.
Columbus identified America with this land. Columbus identified America with this land. So Columbus realized America is Arsarif according to Esdras and Isaiah. Watch this. There's more. Keep reading.
The name it has been suggested by Schiller Sinizi is taken from Deuteronomy 29, verse 24 to 27.
Jump down to the bottom references. What it has in the bottom reference.
Bottom references.
No, it mentions Cajoling. I have to find it. It mentions the book we read earlier.
Okay.
It says say page something.
Looking
I
for
don't even see it on my phone. My phone's charging. Damn. Let me see it. Hold on a second. Right here. Yeah, it's right to the bottom. Restoration. Read again. The bottom. Read from the top again. Read all the way to the bottom. It's the first paragraph.
Oh, all right.
Read
The
again.
name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel would dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to 4th Esdras, chapter 13, verse
Or
45.
2nd Esdras 13:45. Watch this.
Columbus identified America with this land.
So America is Arsarif and Esdras. Watch this.
C. Cajolin's Christopher Columbus.
See that? C. Cagerlings, Christopher Columbus. Go ahead.
Translated by
Translated by.
Dr. C. Gross.
Go ahead.
Page 15.
Page 15. Now, the nigga said, who argued it, it don't say that. When you read page 15, it says he also is very fond of the book of Ezra, the 4th book of Ezra. So the person that put this together on the encyclopedia understood, based upon Columbus' study of Ezra, it's referring to America. So what the hell are you talking about? So it's still making reference to that book. Page 15. Now, let's go back to the other book, page 20. Oviedo.
Origins.
Yeah, Origin again, page 20.
Y'all all right?
Right. Oviedo's. Oviedo, and we're going to end at mentioned. Yep, there's only one statement. Oviedo's argument. It's only one sentence, so it's not. We're gonna fly.
I'll wait for him to move it over. Move it over.
Move it over. Oviedo's argument for a Spanish origin.
Oviedo's argument for a Spanish origin for the inhabitants of the New World received little support and was rarely mentioned.
So that was discarded. I'm reading most of the accounts. Alejo Venegas, where's that at? Venegas clearly.
Right there.
Yeah, read that.
Venegas clearly argued that the first inhabitants of America descended from Carthaginian settlers. He did not quote Aristotle's story. He stated merely that it is obvious that the islands which Don Cristobal Colon and Vespuccio Amerigo discovered had already been found more than 2,000 years ago.
He's right about that. Go ahead.
And that the Carthaginian settlers in the islands spread to the mainland and populated it.
He's partially correct. They are Carthaginians were Israelites, so he's right about that to a degree. Go ahead. Wait. Is that all I want? Let me see. Is that all I want? That's all I want. Get page 21. Page 21. The most vital. The bottom part.
The most vital questions concerning the Indians did not deal with their origins or how they got to the New World. The questions focused on whether the Indians were capable of becoming Christians, whether they should be converted peacefully or
So
forcibly.
he's so saying the hell with who they are, or where they're from. Let's focus on making them Christians. Let's focus on Europeanizing their brains. Go ahead, Willie lynching them. Do that. Go ahead.
Whether they were rational beings possessed of the rights of Europeans, whether they should be enslaved or, if already slave liberated.
Right. The discussion whether if they're either should they be enslaved or if they're already enslaved, should they be liberated, freed, based upon their origin. Go to I don't write about the pages down. But Toma de la Casas. La Casas spent. Let me see. Believe they came from the east. Where's that? 1 second. That's page 21, right? Should be 21. Is it 21 or no? I didn't write that page down. What's wrong? I think I was just jotting stuff down. Hold on a second. Damn, yeah. Okay, it's 22. I didn't write that down. It says,
Take a picture?
yeah,
Take a
page
picture and send it to
22.
him real quick.
I didn't write that down either. Page 22, real quick, and then we go to page 29. I got 29, right? Sorry about that. I thought I gave you that too.
All right, send it now.
Yeah. Page 22 right here. All right. We're gonna start where it says they believe in Bartolome de las Casas. The most 22, the most famous.
The most famous of the Spanish humanitarians, Bartolome de la Casa, wrote on the origins of the Indians in 2 works not published in his lifetime. The
Apologetica Historia.
Apologetica Historia, completed by 1550, and his Historia de la Indias,
History of the Indians. Go ahead.
completed by 1559. Since these books were first published in 1909 and 1875 to 1876, respectively, they did not contribute directly to the literary debate. 2 reasons favored their inclusion. They are illustrative of the thinking of one of the men intimately involved with the condition of the Indian.
He wrote about their condition because they were being enslaved and killed and tortured. He wrote it down. Go ahead.
And they indicate that Las Casas did not hold an opinion commonly attributed to him, that the Indians descended from the lost 10 tribes of Israel.
So they're saying basically that opinion of them being Israelites didn't come from. He didn't go with that. Go ahead.
In his Apologetica Historia de la Casa stated that he believed that the Indians of the Western Indies descended from those of the East Indies because the West Indies are part of the East Indies. He based his conclusion on a comparison of the multitude of people and nations and diverse languages, which are characteristic of the West Indies, and also according to Herodotus and Diodorus of East India.
Right, that's what he believed. They came from East India. That was his belief. They came from East India or whatever, because they were connected. Go to page 29. He was trying to save them, though. He was trying to, because they were being killed. He was trying to see. He said, I'd rather you, rather than kill the Native Americans on this side of the world, let's just convert them and enslave the blacks instead. That's what he said. That's what he believed. that the blacks should be enslaved instead of the natives. Page 120, page 29, we're going to go to one such.
One such was Diego de Landa, who in 1566 completed his officer
Yeah, Diego de Landa, go ahead.
Relación de las Casas de Yucatán.
to justify his actions toward the Indians of that province. Like so many other early works on America, it was not published in his lifetime. That first publication was an incomplete French translation in 1864. The complete version in Spanish appeared at Madrid in 1881. In this case, the lack of publication was not critical since Landa made only 2 brief references to the origins of the American Indians.
Watch this.
After relating the Indian legend of people coming from the east through 12 paths open through the sea,
That came from him. See? Because he spoke to them. Go ahead.
Landa observed that if this were true, they would
Be Jews. So he said, these guys are Jews.
What book is that one?
Same book, Origins.
Origins of American Indians?
Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Wow. Go ahead. It should be.
They can hear me?
No. Go ahead.
Your mic muted, Cap.
Yeah. It should be what? It should be.
It should be noted that Landa did not offer a theory of Jewish ancestry for the Indians.
Go ahead.
He may have thought that, but
He may have thought that. You know, he knew it because he talked to them. Go ahead.
that if he did not express the thought. Landa did make one rather unusual observation. He disagreed with those who thought the civilization of Yucatan was imported. These buildings have not been constructed by other nations than the Indians. He concluded, Landa's argument gained no great support until the 19th century.
1800s. Go to, what's it concluded? Frederick Luminous. Page 35. Go to page 35. Page 35. Luminous.
Okay, I got that.
Luminous introduced most of the theological arguments, which were later advanced to indicate a Hebrew origin for the Indians.
So he pushed it. These guys are Israelites. Go ahead.
The basis for his story of how the Jews got to America was the 4th book of Esdras, whose authority Luminous accepted despite its apocryphal standing.
So he said, based upon the book of Esdras, these guys are Israelites. Despite the book not being considered canon, he said, well, based upon this book, I think it's canon. These guys are Israelites based upon Esdras, like Columbus. He followed Columbus's thought process. Go ahead.
The authority of Fourth Kings and the prophet Isaiah supported the Esdras account.
See, the authority of 4th Kings and the prophet Isaiah supported the Esdras account. Because Columbus read the books of Isaiah and Esdras to conclude that there's a Western Hemisphere. Go ahead.
A detailed discussion of these passages and the development of the biblical arguments for Indian origins will be given below.
Watch this.
Briefly luminous, argument was that the 10 tribes of Hebrews exiled to various parts of the Assyrian Empire, but Shalmaneser had escaped to Osiris, which Luminous identified as India.
America. Indies. America. He identified it. Where am I at? That's page 35, right? Continue.
Spanish writers who adopted or commented upon the Hebrew origin theory generally did not cite other contemporary authors as sources for their opinions. When they did, the most frequently cited work was the Chronographia of Gilbert Greenberg,
Gannebrod, yeah.
French cosmographer and clergyman. The book appeared at Paris in 1567 and was widely used in Europe. But even before Ginbert broadcast the Jewish origin theory, several Spanish friars
prior to this guy saying they're Israelites, go ahead.
working in Mexico
Worked in Mexico, go ahead.
had arrived at the same conclusion.
They all came to the same conclusion, go ahead.
2 of them, Juan
Suarez
de Peralta and Diego Duran,
And Diego Duran, that's the guy that said that they came from the east, go ahead.
had completed their manuscripts around 1580. A third,
Around when?
1580.
This is before Mormonism. Before. Oh, that's Mormonism. This is before that. 200 or 300 years before Mormonism. Before Joseph Smith. See, I come with that garbage. They're pushing Mormonism. No, we're not. That's way before the account. These accounts are way before Mormonism. Go ahead.
A third, Juan de Tovar, worked with Duran and supplied both his own and Duran's work to Joseph de Acosta.
That's what you want to deal with. Read it again, but even before, start from again. But even before Genebrard.
Even before Genebrard broadcast the Jewish origin theory.
So before he presented the origin theory of the Native Americans being Israelites, watch this.
Several Spanish friars working in Mexico.
Several Spanish friars working in Mexico as Christian teachers, go ahead,
had arrived at the same conclusions.
Watch this.
Two of them, Juan Suarez de Parata.
Juan Peralta, watch this.
And Diego Duran.
Go ahead.
Had completed their manuscripts around 1580.
So they wrote their conclusions about the Native Americans around 1580. Peralta and Duran. Watch this.
A third, Juan de Tovar.
And Tovar was the third. Go ahead.
Worked with Duran.
And they worked with Duran. Go ahead.
And supplied both his own and Duran's work to Joseph de Acosta.
See that? They gave their work of the Native Americans being Israelites to Joseph Acosta. Watch this.
For use in his Historia Natural y Moral.
So they gave their accounts to Joseph Acosta to say, listen, these guys are Jews. Acosta said, no, I don't believe that. Even though he got his information on the Native Americans from two friars that said they were Israelites, Acosta was like, I'm not putting that in my journal. I'm not going to accept that. Despite several accounts to the contrary. So Acosta was a demon, a devil. He understood the danger of exposing these guys being Israelites. If these guys are Israelites and they're Jews, we're not entitled to this land. If these guys are keeping the commandments of God, they're not savages. They're not subhuman. We must not push this idea that they're Jews. The two other guys are like, so what? Big deal. But this guy, being the devil, said no. His mind was, he thought ahead. He said, nah, you guys are stupid. If you guys expose this, that will destroy the whole purpose of us having this land. Manifest destiny will not be a destiny at all. So I'm going to say these guys are savage. They came from the Bering Strait. They're not Israelites. They came from Asia. I'm going to push that. You guys are right, but I'm not going to put that in my account. So these three men, Tovar, Peralta, and Duran, assisted Acosta in his history documentary. And he said, nah, I'm going to dismiss all three of them and make up some BS. That's where your Bering Strait comes from. A liar. A freaking liar. Now, where we at? Let's, Peralta believed. Let's read on. Keep on going.
Juan Suarez de Paratas.
Tratado.
Officer.
Tratado del Descubrí.
36. So Juan.
Tratado del Descubrimiento de las Indias.
What does that mean?
The discovery of the Indies, like treating the discovery of the Indies.
Okay, go ahead. Remained
Unpublished until 1878.
Go ahead.
Diego Duran's Historia de las Indies de Nueva
De las Indias, de Nueva España y
You
las...
got it? Isla de Tierra Firme.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Like history of the New Spain, the Indies in New Spain.
All right, go ahead.
Appeared in 1867 and in 1880.
Go ahead.
Juan de Tovar, a relative of Duran.
So Tovar and Duran were relatives. So these two together, along with Peralta, discovered the identity of the Native Americans based upon their interaction with them. They were converting them to Christianity. So they taught them Spanish. Then when they learned Spanish, they said, okay, you guys know Spanish. Who are you? Where are you from? They said, we came from the East. God opened 12 roads for us, and we came from the East. They said, well, if these guys came from the East, and they had 12 roads, they're Jews. They said, Acosta, these guys are Jews. Acosta was like, no, they're Asians, because their horses are Asian. Their apples are Asian.
The grass.
The grass. Hold on. It's Asian. See how it falls? And you dumb Negroes is like, yeah, they're Asians. They're Asians. Dumbass people out there. Go ahead.
Wrote his Relación del Aragin.
I got it. It says,
I'm trying to do my
Thank
thing
you,
with that,
sir.
man. You know.
Relación del origen de los indios que habitan en esta Nueva España, según su historia. So it means the relation of the Indian Indians' origins that inhabit this New Spain according to their stories.
New Spain, Mexico, right? New Spain?
Yes, New Spain is New Mexico.
Right.
Mexico.
Go ahead.
In the 1570s, the manuscript was lost and not found again until 1856. For many years, it was referred as the
Codice Ramirez.
Codice Ramirez. Only in the past 2 decades has Tovar been accepted as its author.
So I'm showing y'all the accounts, several accounts of the Spaniard, of the missionaries, Spaniards. All of them came to the same conclusion. Most of them, that these guys, including English explorers, French explorers, Spanish friars, Spanish explorers, Spanish navigators, all came to the account these guys are Israelites. Acosta was like, no, I'm not going with that. If I go with that, it's going to disrupt the whole idea of this land belonging to us. So we're going to say that they're savages. They crossed the Bering Strait. They were Asians, and that's it. Because if these guys are Israelites, we're killing and enslaving God's people. We cannot let that go on. We cannot let that go out. We cannot. We're going to keep it in the Library of Congress. We're going to keep it in the Smithsonian. We're going to keep it in the Vatican.
Paris.
We're going to keep it in the Israeli newspapers, Paris, France, but America, nah. Keep that quiet.
We're going to charge $1,000 for the book.
Right, for the books. Let's see, page 36. Believed in, read that. Believed in, keep going, where we at? Keep going, read down.
In addition to these 3 friars working in Mexico from Mexican materials, Miguel Cabello Valboa wrote his
Miscellanea Antarctica
at about the same time for Peruvian materials. Cabello Valboa's Miscellanea was first published in 1840 in a French language excerpt. A copy of the manuscript was edited and published in 1945. The Miscellanea proposed a non-Jewish Arthurian origin for the Indians, and will be used here to clarify the distinctions between Jewish and Arthurian theories, so frequently ignored in modern studies. Although Suarez de Parata, Duran, and Cabello Valboa remain unpublished until the 19th century, a discussion of their works is useful to illustrate the growing complexity of the discussion and to point up the developments of and differences between the Jewish, Canaanite, and Arthurian origin theories. All 3 books circulated in manuscript.
So where you had, although Suarez Peralta, Duran, and Cabello Valboa remained unpublished until the 19th century, the discussion of their works is useful to illustrate the growing complexity of the discussion and to point up the developments of and differences between the Jewish, Canaanite, and Arthurian origin theories. These 3 guys all came to the conclusion these guys were Israelites. He says here, it says Jewish, Canaanite, meaning from Canaan, or Arthurian. Because remember, Solomon traveled to Ophir. But let's continue.
All 3 books circulated in manuscript. All 3 books circulated in manuscript and did therefore contribute to the expansion of the controversy, even though they were not widely available.
Watch this.
Juan Suarez de Parata was the earliest identifiable Spaniard to endorse the lost tribes of Israel theory.
He's the earliest. Go ahead.
And even his acceptance was qualified.
And his acceptance of them being Israelites was accepted, was qualified. Go ahead.
He based his opinion in the authority of chapter 13 of fourth book of Esdras.
Chapter 13 of Esdras again. Go ahead.
The passages to which Suarez de Parata read.
What did he read?
These are the 10 tribes which were led away captive out of their own land in the days of Josiah the king. Which tribes? Shalmaneser, the king of the Assyrians, led away captive. He carried them across the river, and thus they were transported to another land. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a land further distant, where the human race had never dwelt, there at least to keep their statutes, which they had not kept in their own land.
And here he says human race never dwelt. Human race, I mean, no one was there. No one was there prior to us getting there.
And they entered by the narrow passages of the river Euphrates for the Most High, then wrought wonders for them, and stayed the springs of the river, passed over.
Not Suarez. Suarez de Peralta.
Suarez de Parata. And though that country, oh, you want me to skip down?
Yeah, so as the Parata interpreted.
Soras Parata interpreted this to mean that the 10 tribes taken captive by Shalmaneser had escaped to a land called Arsarit.
Guys, watch this.
This Arsarit was obviously near America.
Obviously near where?
America.
Go ahead.
And some of the Jews had migrated to it.
Go ahead.
He supported this conclusion by citing the similarity of certain Aztec words to Hebrew words.
Damn. Aztec words to Hebrew words. Go ahead.
And by claiming both peoples had similar idolatry.
Yep. Go ahead.
He did not, however, claim the lost tribes as the exclusive populations of the New World.
Populators of the world, New World. Go ahead.
In fact, he thought that the first settlers probably came before the flood.
So he starts going off a little bit. Go ahead.
His authority for this belief was Genesis 6 and 4,
Right.
which said that there were giants on the earth in the days before the flood, since bones of giants had been reported in Mexico and Peru.
We read that earlier. We read that way before. The big giant heads, that
Right.
was still Northern Kingdom. That was Israel too. He thought because they were so tall, he thought that these giants were the ones that came over here in Genesis 6. That was just our brothers on this side of the world that were taller in stature. Go ahead.
Obviously, America had been people.
It's reported in Mexico and Peru. Go ahead.
Had been reported in Mexico and Peru. Obviously, America had been peopled by giants who had drowned in the flood.
That was his thought, but that was Israel also. Now, let's go to page 38. Diego Duran. How long I got? 38.
7 minutes for what?
To wrap it up.
7 minutes only?
I think so, right?
It's 3:03.
Diego Duran.
Oh, okay.
Where we at?
Page 38, Diego Duran.
Diego Duran was much less equivocal in his theorizing, since he said he had not received the revelation from God, which was the only way to determine for certain where the Indians originated. He would resort to conjecture.
His opinion, go ahead.
He concluded that the Indians must be descended from Jews.
Because he spoke to them. Go ahead.
His opinion was based on the strange ways and customs and the lowly conversation of the natives.
And the what?
And the lowly conversation of the natives.
Their conversations. He listened to them. These guys are speaking in Spanish now, and they're talking about them being Jews or their culture in this language he understands. Esau's saying that's just conjecture. No, that's him listening to their conversations and seeing their customs. It's not conjecture. Go ahead.
Their way of life, ceremonies, rites, and superstitions, omens, and hypocrisy.
Or what?
All so like the Jews that the Indians themselves must be Jews.
Continue.
Duran found support for his belief in observations of Indian cultures, which he thought matched very well with the biblical descriptions of the Jews. Unlike Suarez de Parata,
his relative, go ahead,
who used the apocryphal Esdras, forth on which to base his theory. Duran relied on the Bible itself. His source was the second book of Kings. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria, captured Samaria, and he carried the Israelites away to Assyria.
Right. So he goes into Kings. Go to, let's just say Bible itself. We passed Bible itself?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
That's all I wanted. It's Bible itself. Go to page 38. No, page 40. The Friars. The very top, we're going to end at could be made.
The friars of Mexico, working as they did with the Aztec legends of vast migrations, came more readily to the lost tribes theory than those working in other areas. The legendary wanderings of the Aztecs found a responsive chord in the Christian steeped in the traditions of the Jewish Exodus.
I mean, their customs and their stories go back to the Bible. Go ahead.
By the last quarter of the 16th century, the work of such men as Montalina, Sahagan, Duran, Tovar, and Suarez de Parata had made the Aztecs' oral history available.
They taught them Spanish, and they repeated it. Go ahead.
It was not until the Aztecs' own views about their history became widely known that the obvious...
Hold on. It was not until the Aztecs' own views about their history became widely known. Go ahead, regarding their conversations. Go ahead.
That the obvious, though superficial, parallels with Jewish tradition could be made.
Go ahead.
Furthermore, it was not until these comparisons had been made, the writers began to make extensive use of biblical and related traditions to explain and support their theories.
Based upon the Native Americans' conversations. Go ahead.
Most writers on Indian origins before 1580 did not use the Bible in constructing their theories. Many relied exclusively on non-biblical literary sources.
Right, like their conversations. Go ahead.
Most went no further into the scripture than to insist that all men descended from Adam.
Right, so some scholars was making things up, but these guys listed here earlier regarding the Aztecs, and these guys are Israelites. That's all I want. Now, we're almost done. We got too much time. Go to page 48. Go to page 48. Right, page 48. Let's start at the top. We're going to end that. He changed the pattern. Watch this. Change the pattern.
Europeans made surprisingly little headway before 1589 in their attempts to discover the origins of the American Indians. The usual method for tracing origins consisted of noting certain cultural affinities, dress, speech, manner, religion, between the Americas and some old world people of antiquity.
They compared those two together. Those two were in comparison. Go ahead.
And then inventing a mode of transporting that people to America.
From the old world to America, based upon their dress, speech, manner, and religion. Go ahead.
And frequently the comparisons might be made with contemporary peoples to the extent of noting and explaining the differences which had developed since the settlement of the New World.
Go ahead.
On the whole, the writers presumed a large measure of cultural stability. That is, implicit in their works was the belief that the cultures of antiquity had not changed much in the intervening millennia.
Go ahead.
Joseph de Acosta changed that pattern.
He changed the pattern. Everyone's saying that they're Jews. He said, nope, they're Asians. He changed the pattern. These guys came from the old world. No, they come from Asia. Jose de Acosta changed the pattern. Page 49. I know I ain't got much time. Put the time up or something.
Come on. Page 49.
Since experience.
Since experience had proved men did indeed live in America, and since all men must have descended from Adam, they must of necessity have come from Europe, Africa, or Asia.
Go ahead.
Rather than jump into cultural comparisons to find the old world counterpart of the Indians.
Watch this.
Acosta decided that he should first examine the situation of America with respect to the old world, both geographically and historically, to discover how men could have got to the New World. Only then could he determine which men had actually come. Acosta had already expressed his disdain for those who argued that the name Peru derived from Ophir, or Yucatan, from Yectan, or the Inca name Tito or Paulo from Titus or Paul. Word comparisons, he maintained, were too weak as arguments to sustain such grand conclusions.
Go ahead.
He could, the first men have come to America. How could the first men have come to America? It seemed unlikely to Acosta that there was a second ark to carry them, nor could he credit an angel with that work.
Furthermore, he said what?
Furthermore, he said, I am not convinced that the first Indians came to this new world as a result of purposeful navigation, nor do I wish to conceive that the ancients had developed the art of navigation, whereby men of this day pass from place to place on the ocean with certainty.
This bastard saying? He's saying, I am not convinced that the first Indians came to this new world as a result of purposeful navigation. I mean, it didn't come in on their own. Nor do I wish to concede that the ancients had developed the art of navigation whereby men of this day pass from place to place on the ocean with certainty. I mean, I don't believe these guys had the capability of being able to travel here by ships and get over here. You got Israelites saying the same nonsense. They had rowboats. You guys don't know anything.
Wow.
You guys are as dumb as this guy is. He's saying this, I'm not going to concede that they came over here by ships. I don't believe it. That's what he's saying. Go ahead. Despite the contrary. Go ahead.
Nor do I find evidence of so notable a voyage in all antiquity.
Go ahead.
So far as Acosta could determine, the ancients had no lodestone or compass and could not therefore have made the voyage across the Atlantic.
Liar, man. That's all I want. Go to the Atlantic. Go by the same tokens. Jump down about the same tokens.
By the same token, the beast of the New World, as well as its men, must be derived from the Old World. For does not the Bible say that only those in the ark were saved? Was it reasonable to think the settlers who came to America either intentionally or because of storm, though they might have women with them, and would also have wolves, tigers, and other ravenous beasts on the ship. It was more than enough for men to escape with their lives, driven against their will by the tempest, without carrying foxes and wolves and feeding them at sea.
Right.
Since the beasts could not have swum the broad ocean, and since they probably did not come in the ships with men, not even for sport, and since a separate ark or angelic aid were implausible, how did they get to America? And would not a passage unable by beasts be usable by man also? Acosta was forced by these considerations to conjecture that the new world we call the Indies is not completely divided and separated from the other world.
Right. Watch this.
And in the undiscovered north or south, the two worlds had a land connection.
Bering Strait. Bering Strait. So he said these guys don't know how come here about water. These lands, somehow this land is connected to another land. This land, America, is connected to another land. That's his theory. There's no way they got here in ships. I don't believe that they're smart enough to have ships. So they must have gotten here through a land bridge. That's what he's saying. And that's why it says he broke the pattern. You understand? Everyone else is saying Israel, 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 Carthaginian, Canaan, Israelites. He's like, no, Asian. These guys are not smart enough to have boats. They're not smart enough to have ships and navigation capabilities like us, white folks, who are so smart and they're so dumb. Okay? So he concluded that nonsense. How long I got now? All right, okay. So I'll continue then. Where we at? Page 51. We're going to end at page 51, Judaism. Go to Acosta. Page 51.
Blow it up.
I'm trying to fly through this so I ain't got to go over it again.
Acosta now had his ground rules, but he still did not have his Indians. Before giving his own opinion, he commented on those theories he had already heard. He contemptuously dismissed the Atlantis origin theory, saying that only children and old women could believe what Plato wrote of that island.
Plato wrote.
Plato wrote of that island. Acosta was equally disdainful.
Watch this. Acosta was equally what?
Acosta was equally disdainful of the supposed Jewish origin of the Indians.
See that? Even though 3 of his men that helped him write his documentary said they were Jews, he was opposed to it.
I mean, he hated that.
He hated it. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
True, both Indians and Jews were fearful, submissive, ceremonious, and deceitful. But the Hebrews possessed writing, and the Indians did not.
That's a lie. That's a flat-out lie. They had writing. This guy is a liar. We read the writings numerous times. They wrote in stone. They had a codex. They had all kind of emblems and jewelry, everything. They had a stone in Mexico, the 10 Commandments, etched in stone. They had paper. They had all of that. This guy is a liar. Go ahead.
The Hebrews also loved silver, but the Indians did not. The Hebrews practiced circumcision, but Acosta knew of no Indians who did.
So what? But they did. But because he didn't come across any, they don't practice that. But they did. We read it earlier. Go ahead.
He did not credit the reports from Yucatan. Furthermore, the Jews jealously preserved
their
heritage wherever they went. And Esdras specifically stated they went to Osiris to keep their laws.
Go ahead.
But if the Indians were Jewish, they had forgotten their lineage, their law, their ceremonies, their messiahs, and their entire Judaism.
And their what?
Messiahs and their entire Judaism.
Over time they did because they were conquered and enslaved. And some of them went into idolatry. So over time they did. That's all I want. Go to, what's that, Sarmiento? Where's Sarmiento? Sarmiento, Gamboa introduced his 31st. I gotta find that. Where's it at? It's at page 40? It can't be page 40. Sarmiento, give me a second. I think I skipped something of importance. 1 second. One sec. Sarmiento.
So what is Deacon breaking out? That is Barron Strait is BS. It's crap.
Yo, it's crazy because once I read about this stuff, I think of like people like Volker Malone and all that stuff. Like always try to discredit what we bring out now.
Right. Same thing.
They was always doing. This is Esau's thing, man. It's what they do because of the hatred they have against us. They don't want you to know the history. But all praises is coming out. So take good notes. All right.
Yeah, page 51.
Yeah, right. And also, please share the classes. Please share the classes.
To the Northern Kingdom, mostly.
Trying to find where it says Sarmiento Gimbo introduces theory first. Hold on a second. Yo, Cap, say something, man. You up. You been quiet all day.
Yeah. Today's my day to be quiet. Just sitting back and observing. Ordering books. Just say something.
Yeah, so
30, 31.
but like we said before, just take your notes, share the classes and so forth, because this is valuable. This is very, very valuable information that you are not going to find in school. All right. Matter of fact, Columbus Day coming up now, right? When you think they're going to teach this in the school?
I think it's today, right?
I don't know when it is.
I don't know when it is.
Monday.
It's Monday. Yeah.
They
You
gonna
know what's
teach-
funny? Columbus Day is the same time period as Latin History Month.
Wow.
It's a smack in the face.
Yo, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's in October.
Because I work, right?
I'm
Yes.
gonna skip that. Huh? When is it?
It's crazy because at work, you seen that panel they got?
Right at our job, they put up Latin Heritage Month, and it's crazy because they taking our Hispanic brothers and making them take pictures right in front of that thing.
Right, yeah. And
Okay.
they got the Spaniard flag right there.
So
It says National Hispanic Heritage Month is Tuesday, September 15th to Thursday, October 15th.
Wow.
just like they gave us a Black History Month, only 1 month.
Yeah,
They
we gave
give
them
you-
that. Get page 51. It was difficult. We'll just skip past that. It's not important. I gotta look for it. We'll just continue where we're at. Page 51. It was difficult.
It was difficult to discover the origins of the Americans because they had no written tradition.
Yes, they did. We read that numerous times. This guy is a liar. Go ahead.
Akusa thought,
He thought. Go ahead.
however, that the Indians came to the New World little by little,
That's true. Waves by waves. Go ahead.
and that they came by land or across a narrow strait.
See? That they walked. They came by walking. They told Peralta, Balboa, Duran, Garcia, and many others before. We came from a ship. They told Cortez, we came from a ship. He's like, no, they walked. They have to. I don't believe that they came by a ship or had navigation capabilities. They're not that smart. They walked here, but no evidence. Go ahead.
The major cause of their coming was the nearness of the continents and some undiscovered area.
There's undiscovered because it doesn't exist. Go ahead.
The first to have come a few thousand years ago would have been savage hunters, driven by hunger or loss of homeland or overpopulation. These people settled down and retained little of their former culture.
That's all I want. Let's stop it straight. Across the narrow strait. That's all I wanted. This guy's a liar. All right, let me wrap it up soon. So I'm gonna bring this out real quick. Go to the view real quick. Page 205. Real quick. Page 205, the view. Real quick.
We got 10 minutes, D.
10 minutes? Okay, that's good. That's good enough. Page 205. I put it in order so I wouldn't. Page 205. Watch this. Page 205. And we're going to read. Hold on. We're going to read. You got it? Page 205? Huh? Page 205.
You don't have it?
Page 205. Well, you're looking for that. Let's do something real quick. It's falling apart.
Yeah, I think that's one of the pages we read before early on.
We did. It should be there.
Right, yeah. There, here it is.
Thank you. Sure 5. 1 second, page 80. The main pillar. All right. Sure 5. Read, he disappeared.
Go down.
The very bottom. He disappeared. It's referring to Quetzalcoatl.
All right. He disappeared after he had declared to the Cholulans that he would return and govern them again and renew their happiness.
That's referring to the Messiah. Watch this here. Next one.
The writer of the archaeology says, it was the posterity of this saint whom the unhappy Montezuma, the most noted and venerable Mexican chief when the Spaniards first arrived at Mexico,
Watch this.
thought he recognized in the soldiers of Cortez. The Spanish general, we know by our books.
What did Montezuma say?
The Spanish general, we know by our books, said Montezuma in his first
interview with the Spanish, page 206. Hope I got 206.
Yeah.
All right, we know by our, okay, that's fine. We know by our books. Go to page 203. Page 203. Go there.
We want me to start at D.
Page 203. The archaeology informs.
The archaeology informs of a pyramid toward the Gulf of Mexico, discovered by Spanish hunters about 30 years ago in a thick forest, as though concealed. For the Indians, say the writer, carefully concealed from the whites whatever was the object of their ancient veneration.
They would hide the records from white folks. Read on.
Various authors unite in this trait of Indian character, which accounts for the fact that so many of their Israelitish rights should remain so long concealed from us.
Because Esau was destroying them. Go to page 149. Page 149, same book. Gave out all those pages. You got it? Read that. Let's go to all the nations.
All the nations of Indians.
All of the nations of Indians, go ahead.
Are exceedingly intoxicated with religious pride.
Religious pride. Watch this.
And have an inexpressible contempt of the white people.
And they hate white people. All of them hated them. Let's see why. We don't watch this.
They used to call us in their wars orations the accursed people.
They call white people the accursed people during war. You guys are the accursed people in Isaiah 34. The accursed people.
Dang.
Where did you get that from? Let's jump down. Read one of the old archmagus. Archmagus means they're priest. Esau says their archmagus means their witch leader, witch doctor. This is their priest. Watch what it says here.
When the old archmagus or any one of their magi,
their priests, go ahead,
is persuading the people at any one of their religious solemnities to a strict observance of the old beloved or divine speech.
Of the old what?
Beloved or divine speech.
The old beloved or divine speech. Go ahead.
He always calls them the beloved or holy people.
What do he call them?
The beloved or holy people.
Go ahead.
Agreeably to the Hebrew epithet, Ami, my people, during the theocracy of Israel.
Now, 5 minutes. Give me page 99. Real quick. We'll finish up next time. 99.
Let me start, Mr. Adair.
Mr. Adair, go to being asked.
Being asked of the creation of the woman, he said, their ancient speech made no mention of any difference, only that the man was made first. Moses' account of the formation of the woman, it seems, had been lost.
They lost that part. Jump down to he assures the Indians.
He assures that the Indians are intoxicated with religious pride and call all other people the accursed people.
They call all other people the accursed people, including Edomites. Go ahead.
and have time out of mind been accustomed to hold them in great contempt.
And hold all nations in contempt. The nations is nothing. They're garbage in their conversations, out of mind. One more, page 121. We're going to wrap it up.
Damn.
Page 121. The divine speech is the Bible, by the way. And in their book, Montezuma said in their books, on page 121, Mr. Adair assures us.
All right, right there. Mr. Adair assures us when the Indian Archmagas, high priest,
That's their high priest. Go ahead.
is addressing his people and enforcing the divine speech
Bible. Go ahead.
that he calls them the beloved and holy people, according to the language concerning ancient Israel.
Go ahead.
He argues them.
He urges them.
He urges them to imitate their virtuous ancestors and flourishes upon their beloved land, flowing with milk and honey.
This side of the world. The other promised land. 115. How much I got? 2 minutes? 115. One more. I'm going to try to throw it in real quick. Is that what I want? Or shall I wrap it up for now? Y'all wrap it up for now. I'll go back to it next time. So I got way more. We'll wrap it up for now. So y'all know where the Bering Strait theory came from. It came from Acosta with no kind of evidence whatsoever. He just assumed it. Everybody else saying Israelites. He's saying Bering Strait with no evidence of any kind. They didn't come in. He said, I don't believe they came from ships. They said they came in ships. So it is what it is. All right, we're going to get more into what books they had. They had books, they had writings. We've gone over that numerous times. They had hieroglyphs. They had hieroglyphs. Where'd they get that from? How they writing hieroglyphs? They had no pens writing. This guy's a liar, and y'all believe his lies. All right? So shout outs to the IT team. All praise to the Lord. You're doing an excellent job. Shout outs to the breakfast team as well. Thank you very much. Thank you for our viewers. Thank you very much for watching us. We pray you got some application. Kat?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for watching once again. Make sure you donate to Our Hidden History. You can donate through via PayPal, iuic.newjersey at israelunite.org. Right in the description box, Our Hidden History. Write your name as well. And please help us, like I said, help us keep the show going, all right?
You're also going to bring up, create Our Hidden History YouTube channel. So you ain't got to keep searching through all the videos.
But we do have the actual
we have
channel.
it already.
All right. We have an Our Hidden History YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. We're going to start uploading all the videos on the channel.
So you can just go from point A down to point B and C and D and so forth. All right, so thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all next week. Shalom.
Shalom.
Bless you.
Cypress Plus.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way.